横浜
The biggest race of 2022 is here as we get set fully for trying this Grand Prix in Malaysia. And look at Bagnaia. He's up to second. Close off. Back at Bagnaia. Up into second place. Fabio Quartararo clinging on to that third place. How close was that?
To all my fans, this year is our year. Come down to Sepang this November. Time for Malaysian GP. Malaysia. 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 Jom ke Sepang, kasih gegar.
Yokohama.
It is hot down here in the pit lanes. It's definitely going to be hotter out there on the track. Ladies and gents, we are back. Welcome back at the Malaysia Championship Series down here.
And the Malaysia Championship Series 2021 season is a go. You can hear those engines screaming their way. Driver all there's some contact at turn 15. We said there might be some action at turn 15. Team, wow, that's a double overtake. This is some huge stuff to kick off.
Round number 4, the penultimate race here for Malaysia Championship Series, happening down here at the hollow grounds of the Sepang International Circuit. A very good morning, folks, wherever it is you're watching us live here at the official Facebook page of Sepang Circuit. My name is Mio Adlan. We are definitely in the heat for some racing. As mentioned earlier, this is round 4. This is the final round for MCS for 2 classes today, for MTC as well as SP1V and SP1G. It's a different kind of race today that we're having for round number 4. It's an endurance race of 300 kilometers. Who's going to be coming on top? Funny, it's actually a fact that I do want to share with all of you. It is going to be a very close race, specifically for Class MTC, where Mitchell Chia and Hayden Haikal are sharing the top spot. Mitch is going to be at P1. Hayden Haikal is going to be at P3. It's definitely going to be a lot of fireworks happening down here at the Sepang International Circuit. And a bit of a reminder to all of you as well, make sure you guys do check out the sepangsircuit.com because of the Petronas Grand Prix of Malaysia 2023, which is happening in the month of November. It's not going to be that long anyway. Make sure you guys get the tickets down there right now. It is selling like hotcakes. We still have some tickets available left for all of you motorsport fans, specifically MotoGP fans. So make sure go down to sepangsircuit.com and get your Petronas Grand Prix of Malaysia 2023 tickets very, very quickly. So as mentioned, plenty of drama that we're anticipating today down with our drivers who are coming up behind me right now. And I'm definitely going to be having fun with this, and not more fun actually with our pair of commentators who are up there right now, Nicholas and Jeevan. Guys.
Hey Bio, how you doing? Welcome to round 4. Everybody that's watching from wherever you are, around Malaysia and around Asia. Yes, my name's Jeevan Somanathan. Nick Arnold joining me. Hey Nick, how you doing?
I'm good, Jeevan. It all leads to this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
All roads lead to this weekend.
Yeah,
What
of
a
the
race
of the
we've got in
four
store.
rounds that happen for the Malaysia Championship Series every single year, this one is special. And it's not just special for being the finale this year, it's special because it's actually introduced an entirely new format this year as well. Not only do we have a new commentator in the commentary box for this season, but it's also a two-part round 4. There's race 1 that's happening today. That's for MTC and SB2. And race 2 will be happening tomorrow at 1 p.m. Because for Touring Production and SB1. The reason they've done this is because record-breaking grids this year.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? It's a fantastic representation, and it just goes to show the legacy of the Malaysian Championship Series continues to be built and continues to be strengthened. I think we had a record number of participation in the second round, where there were 54 cars, and here again, a record number, which is why they had to split
and
into
so
2 days.
Race Control, in their ultimate wisdom, have decided that 54 cars running around a track for a it's not a semi-endurance, it is an endurance race, for 3 hours at Sepang can be more dangerous than having it in two separate events. But right now, let's get back down to the grid, because Mio is not just there to talk to us, he's there to talk to everyone else as well. He's talking to Hayden Heichel right now.
Yes, exactly, guys. I'm down here together, as mentioned earlier. I'm with Hayden Heichel in P3 this morning on the grid. Hayden, as mentioned earlier, it's a bit of a rivalry that you have with Mitchell. You guys are square on points coming into the last race, 300-kilometer endurance, and solo driver no less, man.
Yeah, I'm driving alone. I'm pretty sure I have the fitness to do it. I'm not sure about Mitchell, but yeah, we're coming into this round with equal points, and whoever wins this round is basically whoever's ahead of whoever is this round wins the championship. So yeah, Mitchell just passed by, and I'm kind of really sick of looking at the back of his car. So let's see after turn 1 and after the race how it goes.
Yeah, no, that's basically it. Because if you can see, like, other drivers and other teams, they do pair up with a partner, but you chose to just be the solo driver. You've spoken to me off air earlier that you're more comfortable with this because you're just depending on your own. That is how it is, isn't it?
Yeah, when you're driving yourself, you don't have to rely on other drivers, and you don't have that sense of like worry. You don't have to worry about whether your car is safe or your teammate, what's your teammate doing. So yeah, I feel a lot safer and less worried when I'm driving alone.
All right. Last question to you, the fact that you are just behind Mitchell at the starting grid. Anything you want to say to him?
Nothing much, hopefully I'll see him after the race behind me, not in front of me, behind me. Because, I'm kind of sick already of looking at that. Just look at it. It's kind of annoying, right? It looks like a V.
All right, man. Good luck to you. Hope to see you on the podium later on. All right, Ajif, Nick, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Mio. That's the most honest appraisal from a rival that I've heard, I think, ever, in that he's absolutely sick to the guts of seeing the back of Mitchell Chia's car. Has to be said, though, there's actually a great many drivers, not just on this grid, but also around the region and Asia, that are sick to death of looking at the back of Mitchell Chia's car, because he's really good at doing that.
Such a consistent driver, Hayden Heichel. He's won one race already in round 2. But the level of consistency, you got to admire that. Four runner-up finishes. As he said, he's finished bridesmaid on a number of occasions. He's definitely gone on to him. Definitely.
And look, we're seeing the back of him as well.
On turning the tables.
Well, 2:35.861 was what Hayden Heichel put in qualifying, and that's got him third on the grid. Very interesting grid for this first half of round 4, and that is because the high rev Dream Chaser cars were actually the fastest cars in qualifying, and the Wing Hin Motorsports cars followed them. But right now, instead of just talking about the back of Mitchell Chia's car, let's have a chat with him, because Mio's up with him now.
Yes, I'm together with Mitch. Mitch, I literally just spoke to Hayden just now, and he has nothing but good things to say to you. So you actually believe in all those good things?
No, not really. But it's okay, because
so far I haven't seen him all weekend, so hopefully we'll keep it that way.
All right. But it's definitely the best position for you to be in P1. You know, you're just putting pedal to the metal, 300 km, solo driver as well as Hayden. Any different with the new format, or you're happy with this?
I mean, definitely this is the last round, so it's going to be a longer race. It's going to be 300 kilometers. It's going to be tough. But hopefully everything goes smoothly and we'll definitely be able to win this race.
All right. Last words to Hayden. Who's behind you anyway?
I mean, I think I won't be seeing him after turn 1 lah. So.
All right. Loving the attitude. Bring it home. Do the best that you can. All right. All right. Good luck. Back to you guys. Confident in this boy.
That's brilliant.
Awesome.
It's fantastic. It's the Malaysian attitude of racing. He's not going to see him after turn 1. Well, we'll see if that actually holds out and it is true. Because it is going to be tough. It is much tougher. And this has been brought up over the last few years as well. So just to give you a bit of background, if you've never been or you've never watched the Malaysia Championship Series, this series, the Malaysia's premier national touring car series, was actually set up in 2002. So this is the 21st year of Malaysian Championship Series racing. But actually that's not true either. It started off with the Malaysian Super Series, and then in 2015 it was rebranded to the Malaysia Championship Series, and that is when the live stream started. That's essentially when I started watching these races as well. And it has, as you said, Nick, blossomed and ballooned into a really, really great championship. And you just saw the rivalry between Mitchell and Hayden. Well, that, you know, those rivalries happen all over this grid. Just so happens that they're tied up at 73 points. And I think while we got the time, I should probably highlight exactly how close that is. 73 points for each of them. Behind them is the Aslan brothers, Nabil and Nakib, on 60 points in third, and Lee Wai Chong and Brendan Paul in the other high rev Dream Chaser car in 50 points on in the fourth place. Now let's get back down to the grid. Adam Mikhail is talking to Mio.
Yeah. All right, now I'm down here at the SP2 line here together with Mika, all ready for the 300 endurance race. Mika, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, really good.
All right, so I mean, like, round 4 is definitely a different format. You're talking about an endurance 300K, and I believe that you're going to be getting on the car twice. You're going to be starting off and also jumping in at the second pit stop as well.
Yep, I'm a bit nervous, but yeah, I think I'm ready. I had a big breakfast today, so yeah.
All right, and the track is in perfect condition right now. It's not that super hot weather-wise, but I think the track is in optimum condition to, you know, for you to showcase your abilities and getting those points.
Yeah, the weather looks nice today, and I'll 100% win.
100%. Okay, so I'll see you on the podium then.
Yep, of course.
All right, of course. There you hear it, Mika. Good luck to you guys.
It's almost turning into a WWE match or something with the amount of trash talking that's happening on the grid. That's Adam Mikhail, and with Farik Hariman 7th in the championship right now on 32 points. Currently being led by Timothy Yeo on 61 points as we look at the 15 corners of the FIA Grade 1 circuit, the Sepang International Circuit that you know so well. 5.543 kilometers, 15 corners, 927 meter longest straight, and that's the magic of it right in the middle of it, but it emanates out in terms of speed. So very fast 3, 4, and 6, very fast 10, 11, and 12, but also very slow 1, 2, and 3, and 7, 8, and of course 9 and 10 is where a lot of incidents happen as well. But what a great track, and as usual, using both sides of it, north and south, for this time. Now, just quickly, as I said, Adam Mikhail, we just spoke to, 32 points. The leader in his class is 61 points. How is he going to catch that up? Double points, people.
Yeah, Mitchell Chia is coming into this race in great form. You know, Jeff, we saw him win back-to-back races in round 3. You know, he was talking about,
great
you know, how familiar he is with the track. And at that time, he said he needed a bit of luck. But I don't think he needed any luck at all because he was just so consistent in both races. And because of round 3, him winning both those races has taken him, you know, above, not above, what's his name? Hayden Haikal. But, you know, it puts him in sort of a better form. It gives him a better momentum. And that's what Hayden said as well.
Yeah,
you know, I'm fed up of seeing him in front of me. I want to change
Mitchell
that.
doesn't see that. Mitchell can't say that. And it's true what Mitchell said. I won't see him after turn 1 because he's going to be looking ahead and Hayden's going to be behind him. But that's, you know, what we think. In terms of stats, Mitchell Chow is the only person that took his his Suzuki Swift to 2:33.987. The only driver that managed to get under 2:34 was Mitchell Chow.
Yeah, exactly.
So High Rev, Dream Chaser, both of those cars have been in absolutely fine form.
He's clocked the fastest time, right, over the weekend. So, you know, it's, again, Mitchell is the man to
She's not a
beat.
driver, I'll tell you that now. Unless
But the grid girls, you know, they add so much of color, they add so
it's
much of
atmosphere.
personalities.
That's what it's all about, yeah. And as I said, the drivers just getting ready now. 22 cars in this grid in the 21st year of the Malaysia Championship Series. And so 30 points, that's what I mean. Everybody, humans generally, love the concept of double.
Yeah,
This
indeed.
plus one. Double happiness, double cheeseburger, double points. And that's what we've got this weekend. We've only
And
got
it's
double racing.
winner
with
takes
the-
all, right? I mean,
In this race, especially.
in this
yeah.
race, yeah, exactly. You may not have done so well, you know, leading up to this race, but if you turn up on form, anything could happen.
It's worth two races, 30 points. So.
Exactly.
So it's usual touring car regulations of 15 points for a win, 12 for second, 10 for third, and that drops down by 1 point all the way up to 10th, where you get 1 point. But now double points, it's 30 points for the win, it's 24 points for second, and it's 20 points for third. And looking at some of the spreads, I said in all four of the classes that we've got today and tomorrow, it's easily overtakeable if the right regulations or the right situations turn up. That's well, that looks like
Nakib.
Yep, that looks like
Nakib
Nakib.
Aslan. Yeah, the
Been
brothers
cool.
are in contention as well.
They
you know,
are.
They are just 13 points behind. Like you said, double points. So,
Ideally, if they can both put that car on the top of the grid, then they're already going to get enough. But they just need to make sure that Hayden and Mitchell don't finish second and third and pick up their own 24 and 20 points. And that, as I said, is, well, if you look at the stats, when was the last time Hayden Heikel and Mitchell Chad didn't finish in the top three? So
Indeed.
that's something for the rest of the... that's Leon Koo, if I'm right. Yes, it is, from R Engineering. Such a successful team, R Engineering. And back here for another finale as well. That's great to see. Now, I'm always going on about these starting procedures and the flags that happen, and there's actually a lot of rules that are attached with it as to exactly what can happen. So the pit exit and pit closing windows is about 5 minutes. After that, it's a 10-minute board, a 5-minute board, a 3-minute board, and a 1-minute board, and 30 seconds. Now, this is what actually happens. When the 3-minute board is up, then all cars have to have their wheels fitted, and the car must be resting on their wheels. And, of course, you can't take a single wheel off. You basically have to do that in the pits after that. The 1-minute board, engine should be started, and the team personnel have to get off, so I think we should be getting close to there now. And then on 30 seconds, the engines are started and they're off and running. So it is a set format that has to go on, and that'll go on for a couple of formation laps.
Yep.
Maximum.
And the only difference is you get a double pit stop, right? You get a double opportunity to do pit.
That's it. Usually for the rest of the rounds, the sprint format is 1 hour plus leader, and there'll be a pit stop between the 20th and the 40th minute. For this race being a double race, because we said it's a double cheeseburger race when it comes down to it, it's 54 laps, and you get 2 5-minute compulsory stops that happen between the 12th and the 45th lap.
Yep.
So, as I said, it's the same kind of strategy. And just before we get further into that, don't forget the Petronas Grand Prix of Malaysia 2023, 10 to 12th of November. You heard me right. It's literally just around the corner. So get your tickets now at www.sepangcircuit.com. Still plenty of tickets available, though. They are selling out fast. Remember that. And also, if you want to fulfill your need for speed via SIC's Open Track Day, then you can book online now at www.sepangcircuit.com. Please bring your car up here and see, within reason and safety limits, what speed you can put up and what lap time you can put up, because we are not asking you to come up here and wreck your cars. Pit in 60, that's one of the signs that you get. Look at these people just now making their way off the grid. So basically, I thought that was 60 seconds. It's not. It's 60 kilometers. That's the speed you can get down the pit
Again,
lane.
we were talking off air about how much work goes for
People
championship
never
like
see
this.
it.
Yeah,
People
people
never
never
see
see
it.
it. This is the end product, people. But the work that goes into it, we got to comment all of them, right?
All
From the
those
pit
people you
crews.
just saw walking off the grid had something to do. Have a think about that.
Yeah.
Because each of these teams, as I said, it's a testament to the effort that they put in throughout the 3 rounds before this. But now this 54-lap, 300-kilometer endurance race is a different kettle of fish, and we're just about ready to get underway with the formation lap. Race control is now going to be eyes, ears, and everything else. So engines on at this point. Weather, we haven't actually done the weather check so far. It's actually been okay, considering it is the transitional monsoon phase in Malaysia, and there have been some, oh hello, someone's starting from the pit lane.
But yeah, speaking of the weather, I don't think we should get too excited about this dry track, because like you mentioned, transitional monsoon, and what happens is it's been typically beginning to result in light showers, especially in the early
people?
afternoons, late afternoons. So we might see a bit of showers, and that could really change the dynamics of this race as well.
You hear this, people? That's my umbrella, because I knew. And I myself have thought, yes, perhaps it is going to rain later on. That's just going to add a little bit of spice to this race. But it is so much safer in terms of racing to have 22, look at that grid, 22 cars on the track as opposed to 54. So I am a big supporter of this change that Race Control have made. I don't know if it's going to be implemented every year from now on, but it is up to them. And, it's one of the offshoots, I guess, of having such a great registration and sign up for this championship. As Nick pointed out, these racers know each other so well, they know this track so well, and it just brings a different air and angle to the racing involved. And now we get to have a quick corner by corner view of this wonderful track. It has seen so much racing over the last 25 years. Just as a point of interest, of course, 2002 Malaysia Championship Series started. 3 years before that, which is 1998, F1 started
F1,
here,
yeah.
up here. That's one of the biggest races that they've had up here, but of course MotoGP.
And speaking of the track, and all these cars are coming into turn 1, we've had quite a number of incidents, right?
Yeah, and that's just in your first season. I mean, trust me, over 7 years.
Even Hayden mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, if you can get past turn 1, the most important parts of any race, especially up at Sepang, are turn 1 and the end.
And the end, yeah.
Everything in between is, in between. Now, let's have a look at the first few rows. Mitchell Chia and Lee Wan Chong and iRev Dream Chaser. I told you they were doing really well. Wing Hin Motorsport cars behind them, Hayden Heikel and the Aslan brothers, Leon Koo and Avia Bah from Indonesia, and Alvin Bah in row 3.
And so making up the 7th position is Aaron Lim, followed by Goh Lee Heng, Mark Chew, and Ngo Chui Len. USJ Motorsports is made up of Lee Kwang Ming, Afiq Mohamad, followed by Hugh Koi Sen, and Tay Sindivira and Lam Hui Chen.
It's the all-female team in there. And 13th, Yip Kian Heng, and 14th, Leston Neo, getting to SP2G now. In 15th is the Bay Racing Team, 16th, Ng Chong Ching, 17th, Adam McCall and Farouk Hariman, and 18th, Yi Yanjin and Sun Shipo.
Staying with the SP2G, 19th place we have Wong Yu Chong, followed by Ian Wong. Bay Racing Team made up of Timothy Thomas, followed by Ong Wai Kong. Lau Ken Jan is in 23rd place, and the sole driver of Bay Racing Team, Liu Kawai.
And looking as we move on to 25th, 26th, it's Somaya Futoshi and Chan Kin Seng. Divyesh Parajan from DV Motorsports, 27th. Lim Yao Huang in 28th. Mohamed Hasif, 29th. And Mohamed Najib Ismail Firdaus in 28th.
And in 31st place, we have Chu Yong Chun, followed by Stuart Hines. Daniel Walker in 33rd place, followed by Ayman Haziq. Shafiq Shamsuddin is in 35th place, and Nico Sivelli in 36th.
And we've got Sharik Sulkainan, Roy Koo Rom, 37th, 38th. Jason Hu in 39th. Alan Tia in 40th. And Wu Wai Hung. And Ip Tak Meng in 41st. That just goes to show you 41 cars just in this part 1.
Indeed.
Fast, and that's why they've had to split it up, because it would have have just been too much if you added on top of that SP1 and touring production. Of course, for racing fans, that means you get double trouble. You get double the enjoyment as we can watch that second race tomorrow. Now, getting back to the first half, so it's a staggered start for MTC. SP2, G and V will start, or in fact, I think it's MTC and SP2G should be starting off up front. And a slight break, as you can see the second safety car just at the top of your screen with SP2V. In fact, I think it is just MTC that's starting off in the first wave.
Very interesting also to see the mechanics of these drivers, especially, you know, we're talking about our two front runners, Mitchell Chia and Hayden Heikel, both solitary drivers.
Yeah.
Right? And so what Hayden mentioned earlier was so interesting as well, because fitness comes into play.
Absolutely.
We are essentially talking about 300 kilometers, like we were talking about earlier, essentially from KL to Johor Bahru and top speed. And then full concentration for 3 hours.
So we've just started off now. The lights are going green for MTC. And as they edge towards turn 1, well, it's one of the wing-in cars on the inside, trying to cut into the high rev Dream Chasers, and he managed to get second spot. Second wing-in also coming up on the inside, so that's a great start from them. They may have lost ground off the initial rolling start, but they managed to make it up into turn 1. And now, as Divyesh Barajan goes around the back.
Yeah, great start from high ref Dream Chaser.
I actually think that's Mitchell Charles moved down to third. So this is the second start for SP2V and G. SP2, the two subcategories within it as they come through as well. Everybody having a little look on the inside. Timothy Yeo is leading this, 61 points. And it's Axel Sports, Diego Moran and Alex Young that are leading in SP2V.
Very nicely done by Timothy. He immediately took the inside line and then just kept at it, and as a result,
yeah, you've got to get
nice
that just right. You've got to switch back halfway through. Just as you're exiting in turn 1, you have to switch back into the middle and then start defending the inside of turn 2. Very interesting corner indeed, but I'm glad to see. I'm glad of two things. I'm glad that all the cars have made it off on the start line. The other thing I'm glad for is the reason that's happened. I'm glad that there's 2 races this weekend, because that would have been so chock-a-block at turn 1.
Well, I would have to say we've already got off to a fantastic start, because, you know, everybody's got off to a clean start, right? You know, no bump
That's
and
what you
grind,
need to do, yeah. There's
you
no
know,
investigation.
no veering off track.
That's also down to it's been a very dry start this morning, and
Yeah,
we might get
the
a little
weather's
bit more
played a
wet
big
later
part.
on. Now, so 53 laps to go, as you can see in the top left of your screen, and that means that we're going to see a lot of distances built up. The likes of Mitchell Chan, Hayden Heikel, they're going to go very, very hard, and they already are. In fact, Hayden Heikel's put in fastest sector 1, and Li Wai Chong, in fact, has come in with the fastest sector 2 and 3. So it is the 900 high rev Dream Chaser that's actually leading right now.
Yeah, with Hayden sandwiched in between both of them. So as of now, Hayden's got what he wanted, you know, to see Mitchell
for one lap. For one lap, and if that works, and that's it. That's happening right there. That blue car is second, and the 100 third. Well, Mitchell Shah is not going to be having much of this, I can tell you. He's going to be looking for his way in, and he's going to use his high rev Dream Chaser. Oh, hello! On the inside, cut off nicely by Li Wai Chong. Has he got half a car length? No, he hasn't. He's defended turn 2 very well.
Very, very daring move.
See, now what that's done is that's just lost Hayden Heikel some time. And that means that Mitchell Shah is going to be even more closer. And now what they can do, and you can bet your bottom dollar that high rev Dream Chaser are currently talking about this on their radios as well, is they're going to try and get him blocked off. Oh, he's got half a car length there. Mitchell has a look on the inside as well, and they've wasted no time here in round 4. On lap 1.
Oh, that's almost bumper to bumper right there. Hayden Heikel is not letting up.
He wants to get in front as soon as possible. And remember, it's a 12 lap, maybe a 15 lap first stage for him. Solo driver, that's when the drivers will change. Li Wai Chong has to change, but the other two don't. So the other two are going to hope to get up front and really push.
It's
Well, looking at it now, it's Hayden Heichel that's the fastest car there, 2:37.917.
yeah, just marginally faster than Lee Wai Kong. But Lee Wai Kong, I have to say, is doing a tremendous job in
Defending.
defending.
Yeah, he's done
It's
really
not been
well.
easy because he's got to be extra alert, especially at all the turns where Hayden is coming really, really strong.
Just can't let that chasing car get half a car length left or right, because then you're going to have to concede the racing line. The racing line is one line that goes around this track. It's the fastest way you can get from start to finish. And right now, you can see it with all three of the, there it is. You can see it with all three of the cars on it. So which of these guys is going to be brave enough, as you said, to break away from the racing line? It comes down to braking lane. Hayden Heichel is going to try that. I'll tell you now, he's going to try on the inside.
Yeah, he's definitely going to go again.
He's having a little peek now. He's going to try on the inside. I knew he was going to do it. Oh, he had a look. Oh, locked brakes through him, Lee Wai Chong, and that could be huge. Would have lost a bit of time from that.
I actually think that Mitchell hasn't made his move yet. He's just observing.
He's just observing.
Yeah,
and
he's
that's
just
because
keeping pace and he's just observing. Staying in line, as you can see.
that's all he has to do right now. He just has to watch to see what happens ahead of them. But he is having a look, as you can see. But this is fascinating stuff as the rest of the pack now
Oh,
are
maybe
closing
now
up
for
on them.
Mitchell.
Well, Mitchell just put in a 2:36.990. He's now the fastest.
And there it is.
Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And oh, he couldn't. There's a bit of contact between both of them. Lee Wai Chong comes in on the inside. Three-way
Wow.
battle.
What a start to this race. We've already got a 3-horse race.
Three-way battle from the three fastest cars, but right now it is Mitchell Chia that is the fastest car in there. 2:36.990. He's looking again on the inside. He wants to push all that extra speed that he's got. Oh, that's tragedy for Hayden Heichel, who's lost 2 spots by the looks of it. That's great teamwork from the High Rev Dream Chaser team, and now they're going to have
And
the
Lee Wai
inside
Kong-
line.
Lee Wai Kong is almost taking back second place.
He's taken it. He's got
Yeah.
the inside line here.
So High Ref Dream Chaser 1 and 2 as of now.
And now he can keep doing his defending job, and Mitchell Chia can streak away.
Just when we spoke about Mitchell Chia not making moves, boom, there he goes.
Yeah, it's like a cobra is just ready to strike.
And 2:36 is probably just his warm-up lap,
Hayden
right?
on the inside, up at turn 9, and he's taken Wai Chong, which is good. I don't think he's going to be able to keep it. No, he is. He's halfway across. Wai Chong's going to have to concede that line. And he is. And he has. That's great work from Hayden Heichel, who's now doing attacking and defending
And
at the same
defending,
time.
yeah.
He's literally looking both ways, and he has managed to get fast. That's brilliant driving from Hayden Heichel. Wonderful stuff.
Oh, Lee Wai Kong making moves, and he's taken him.
I think this might be...
Yes, he has. He's done really well to get on the outside and...
Well, no, I think that was the replay of a previous corner. What we're going to have to see is they cross the line. Oh, this is the replay now. Sorry, you're right. He has, in fact, gone through. Look at that. So tight up at turn 5. But this was just so unlucky.
This was where
Hayden's
Mitchell
off,
Chia made his move
track
to
right
take.
now, so he's going to get done for respecting track limits anyway. But on top of that, he also lost 2 places. There he is, sitting nicely behind Lee Wai Chong. Mitchell Chia is still trying to burn his way through into a lead. He is now currently lapping 2 seconds faster than the 2 cars behind him. That 2:40 that Lee Wai Chong and Hayden Heichel are currently lapping is due to Wai Chong not letting him get past.
Yeah. So you don't follow the rules and then you
That's defending. That is what you do. Slowing down
you
his
have
lap
to pay
time.
the penalty, and we already have our first drive-through penalty as well.
Oh, wow, that's quick. I didn't expect that to happen so quickly.
Car number 33.
We're going to have to check to see exactly who 33 is, because once again, there's so many contestants and racers.
So
We haven't
33
got
is
a-
Alan Tia and
There you go.
Lau Jiaji.
Now, this should be the SB2 Well, that's too early for the pit stop window. I'll tell you that. It's on lap 4. Neon Koo with a bit of troubles. And the Aslans also in pit right now for some strange reason. There they are.
That's probably not what they wanted. There's some debris at the front bumper.
Lawnmower extra is what it was.
Aslan brothers obviously chasing this title 13 points away. But yeah, they're going to have to make up that for that stoppage.
Now look at that car, 268, that's Yu Chung from Awesome Racing. And I have to say, that is an awesome paint job.
Yeah, indeed. Rainbow color.
Maybe they do it to unnerve their drivers, and there they are right now. And that should be for, yes, that's Yi and Jin from Bay Racing that he's racing with. 75 car, they're having a huge battle right now. There's only 0.2 of a second between them, and that is for position. That is currently for 5th and 6th in class, SP2G. It's 7th and, or 17th and 18th overall.
In fact, in all 3 classifications, we've got really, really intense battles in the SP2G, you know, Tedco Racing, really, really close with each other, and in SP2V as well, DV Motorsports and Arworks. They're just all separated very, very marginally.
Yeah. And meanwhile, up at the front, still now with a 1.5 second advantage, Mitchell Chia is biding his time and looking at the lap times. Well, it's DY Chong that's now the fastest of the 3.
Yeah, indeed. Hayden has somehow now chasing both the high ref Dream Chasers.
Well, these are the cars that put in a 233 and a 235 in qualifying, which was untouched. So they were highly favorites and very much expected to do well.
I just find it so amazing how Mitchell Chia has sort of separated his himself from the chasing pack. You know, not too long ago he was in 3rd place, and we saw that sort of tire lock by Lee Wai Kong, and you know he immediately capitalized. And
yeah, if there's one thing that Mitchell Chia knows well from all of his great experience racing in touring car championships around Asia, it's to wait for exactly the right opportunity, to not be hot-headed, to not be impetuous, to not be rash about stuff. You could have been waiting for this race for weeks, but then when you're on the grid, think, right, I'm just going to put pedal to the metal and see what I can do.
Yeah,
that's not what he did. He sat in 3rd and he waits for his opportunity, and as soon as he took it, then now he's building his race around that great move at the front.
And to think that Mitchell Chia, I would say that, you know, he's just come into sort of his peak performance. Looking back at the last 3 races, right? So in round 2, he finished in 3rd place, but in round 3, you know, back-to-back finishes. He started off really well, winning the first race of round 1. Didn't really do so well in race 2. He finished as runner-up in the first race of round 2, and then from there it sort of took off. And I think it's just built and built and built, and you know, coming into this weekend in this sort of performance, it's really going to take some performance to get past him.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's also a question of getting the car just right as well. I know they were tweaking up the car, but if you put a good driver into a good car, then it's not rocket science. That'll end up doing well. They'll end up doing reliably well. That's the point. So as you said, of the 6 races so far, 3 wins for Mitchell Chia, and you know 4 second places for Hayden Heikel. So that's the thing. You know, the second place, only 2 of them were actually to Mitchell. The other 2 were to other, but those are the races he should have won. Then it would have been a little bit different. But 1 win in race 1 of round 2 for Hayden Heikel. 1 win and 4 second places, 73 points. And 3 wins and 1 second place, 1 third, 73 points. That's where we are right now. And as Hayden Heikel pointed out at the start of this race, it is literally about who is ahead of who between those 2.
Looking at the MTC, it's just dominated by Mitchell Chia, Hayden Heikel, and the Aslan brothers. Nobody else got a win. So, you know, these guys have been the dominant forces
the Aslan brothers, especially, they were the ones that took up the other 2 wins.
Yep.
And that would be great to see. Now, this is interesting. This is Hayden Eichel again trying to push for that second spot. He's all over the back bumper of Lee Wai Chong at the moment.
Lee Wai Chong
has done
yeah,
so well.
He's having a tough time though, you know, just defending that lead, because Hayden Haikal is...
It can just be so frustrating when you're at the
yeah,
back.
and he's a guy that, you know, he loves to take this sort of risk, and it usually is a risk that pays off. Mitchell obviously with a 2-second lead. So it's slowly building up for him.
Yeah, 2 seconds after 6 laps isn't so bad, especially in weather like this. But telling you, if High Rev Dream Chaser keep getting their way, as is now, then Mitchell Chia is going to build on that, and he's going to keep building on that, because this is his perfect race. This is exactly what he wants. His teammate blocking off his main rival, and he's up front, and he's with a clear track in front of him. No rain as well, which means he can start pushing the lap times. Right now, all 3 of them, the only 3 cars lapping at 2:37 are the top 3 in MTC. Everyone else is at 2:39. Avia Barhaus in 4th with 2:39, and Aaron Lim with 2:38 after that. So lots of cars. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and it's allowed, this race has also allowed everyone to sort of come into peak performance, because we've not had any full course yellow, no debris on track. I'm touching wood here.
You don't want to start jinxing stuff
But
around.
what I'm saying is that, you know, it's allowed these drivers to go out and, you know, just be in the momentum that they are.
Yes, there's another incident happened between 32 and 21. That's under investigation. So things are happening around the track, but the main big things, like you said, that we saw a lot of in round 3 and round 2 aren't happening. And that is a great thing. And I said there's been some great decisions by race control over the last couple of days to, one, limit this and make sure that the right amount of cars are on the track for this first race and the second race as well. But it's also a combination of the track temperature and the general temperature, and having the right car. And I really do think, based on the qualifying times that we saw, that High Rev Dream Chaser are going to be very, very hard to beat today.
Yeah, we've had an incident in turn 9 between car number 32 and 21.
I'm not surprised about turn 9.
Just as we spoke about having a incident-free.
I said, but if it's under investigation, that's one thing. That might just be track limits. It might just be, you know, a very rude gesture out the window to somebody, for all you know.
Yeah.
But thankfully, it's not yellow flags everywhere, and we did see a lot of that happening in, I think it was round 3, race 2, where there were 2 full course yellows
Yeah,
in
it
an
did.
hour, right?
And it really halted momentum, right? Talking about the 21 laps,
Yeah.
and you have a full course yellow coming into play.
Yeah, because it stops.
For big parts of
it
the
stops
race.
and it comes down to, you know, it's a 80 kilometer an hour speed limit after that, so everybody has to come down to that level. But that's not really it. I mean, it's about safety. It's about making sure that nobody else is going to get into trouble after whatever trouble actually already happened. And on a track like Sepang, that can happen all over the shop. So now, as we look at, I think this should be, well, that looks like the tail end of MTC. And if you look at left of your screen, you can just see that is Mark Chu, you're right. Currently in 7th, and already some 24 seconds behind. So 7 laps into the race, and the spread already amongst the top 10 is almost a minute and a half. That's all down to Mitchell Chia, Lee Wai Chong, and Heikel that are burning rubber at this point.
You can see Hayden Heikel has also distanced himself rather comfortably well from 4th place, right? You know, he's held a 5-second lead, and that's a sizable lead.
It is a sizable lead, but there's also a different rhythm to this race. In a 1 hour race, you'd expect him to go absolutely flat out. They're probably for the next 3 or 4 laps going to keep at this pace.
Yeah,
if you look at the lap times now, no fast sectors. Nobody is pushing the limit right now. It's all 95% driving. Most probably get them up to the first pit window.
Yeah, and again, strategy comes into play so big, right? Because you have 2 pit windows which you have to take between.
Well, 1 pit window, 2 pit stops.
2 pit stops, yeah, and you gotta time that really well, especially if you're a single driver. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So there is no strategy with your partner. It's all down to you. You gotta build it up when you gotta go in, get that.
Well, yeah, I
big
actually
time.
never finished talking about that because of the interviews that we had before, but there has been, over the last few years, a big debate as to 2 team drivers or solo drivers, because Jonathan Z came out, who is not featured today, but Jonathan Z is very successful solo driver. Ken Urata is another very successful solo driver. Eddie Liu is solo this time round, but Hayden Heikel, Mitchell Chia, it is a different situation, but it's also, as I said, Hayden was talking about you have to worry about the other driver. That's from a driver's point of view. Looking at it from a team owner's point of view, there's 1 point of information coming back. You set up the car, you put the driver in it, they come back, they tell you what's wrong. You set up the car, the driver tells you what's right. You don't have 2
There are pros
drivers.
and cons to it, right? I mean, and it's also a matter of preference. Like
It is.
Like Hayden says, he prefers to be alone, fair and well. He knows the car well, he knows his machine well. He wants the same machine from start to end. He doesn't want to switch, he doesn't want to lose any momentum.
Yeah.
But some prefer it the other way around. They'd rather have a teammate, So it's sort of teamwork. Maybe I take the first half, you take the second half.
Well, the one thing that people are never good at doing, and I mean all people, as in mankind, is never good at doing, is gauging how tired you actually are yourself. And other people can gauge it for you, or other people can come in and tell you what it is, but you're only actually going to know when you're tired.
Yeah, especially
so-
over a 300-kilometer race like this.
That's the thing. So this is a mini endurance race in a sense when compared to some of the bigger 10-hour, 8-hour S1Ks that you have to kind of negotiate with. And you've done S1K, I've done S1K, and with the driving stints that are allowed in S1K, you literally have to rest your driver after 3 hours, because if not, all your decision making, your human body is overheated, is going to start playing a factor. So it's great for the individual when they're in the car to say, I don't have to think about anyone else. But as you as a person, you have to know your limits so closely if that's what you're going to do, because you're going to be. But I've seen drivers come in, sit out, in S1K especially, they do the first stint, they sit out for about 2 hours in the pits, and then they
go
get back in the car again in the evening, and that becomes their working day. That's the thing. But in the end, whether you're commentators or whether you're broadcasters or whether you're race officials, there is that working day. Now that is still not part of the pit window. We're only on lap 9. The pit window is not open. So that is Mark Chu. And there's something wrong with that number 99 car.
Yeah, I just saw him go into his garage. It looks like it might take some time.
Well, the last lap he put in was 2:48.686. That's 12 seconds off the pace. So there's definitely something wrong with that car. And we're hoping it's just electrics or maybe a gearbox issue that they can quickly get up and running.
As we were talking, Jeev, Hayden has now overtaken Lee Wai Kong. He's into second place.
He has. And that is down to Hayden Heikel is lapping 0.05 of a second faster, 2:38.079 to 2:38.163. So he must have found a good angle and come through. That's not over.
Oh yeah, definitely.
By the half of it, that's literally just started
But
up.
the top 3 has sort of spread themselves out a little bit compared to before, where it's almost bumper to bumper. And looking at lap times as well, we have Mitchell obviously clocking the fastest, 2:37, but that was not his fastest lap time. It was 2:36.
2:36.990. That was the one where he actually took the lead, and there he is now, our leader overall and MTC. 3.6 seconds ahead of Hayden Heikel, who is now confirmed in second, who is only still just a 0.5 of a second ahead. Just at the top right of your screen, you can see there, ahead of Lee Wai Chong. Aaron Lim and Putra Adam are in, Aaron Lim for Honda Malaysia Racing is in 4th, and their partners, teammates, Avia Baha and Alvin Baha, the Indonesian pair, in 5th in MTC. Go Lee Heng is in 6th. Lee Kwok Ming is in 7th, And you can see that the left-hand side of the screen, basically all the blue marked drivers are MTC and all the red marked drivers are SP2, G and V.
Yip Kian Heng has taken a sizable lead in SP2G.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing really well for himself.
Well, I mean, it still is just it's Yip Kian Heng. He's got his sandwich in MTC. He's about 3 seconds ahead of Neo Jiming on TD Racing. So it's a TD 1-2 in SP2G at the moment. That is a blown engine, I'm sure of it. Gotta watch that because that could be putting oil on the track. That might be a full course yellow, in fact. 242.
Yeah, remains to be seen, but a lot of smoke coming out of that car.
Yeah, that car is going to have to come in very, very soon. That just goes to show you. So, 10 laps. They've essentially done 55 kilometers. And one of the engines blew.
Yeah.
So, you can look at 300 laps and you think about it, because it's not just going from KL to JB, as you said. It's going from KL to JB at full speed.
At full speed. And we're talking what? 180 kilometers,
Hello,
200 kilometers an hour.
Hello to everyone. Great to see you guys. And to anyone watching, they're not just serious when the camera's on them, they're serious all the time.
We've also had a unspotting flag for car number 96.
I wonder what he did wrong.
Yeah. So that's goalie Heng from Tedco Racing.
Unsportsmanlike flag, wow. We haven't seen that. Well, we've seen it a couple of times actually. Black and white diagonal, and I think we might even be getting a replay, you know. Ooh, that is... Well, hopefully that's not putting a very thick layer of oil down on there at all. Right now it just looks like...
Yeah, an exhaust issue.
Exhaust issue, yeah, I could have blown something in the engine. Definitely need to get that back to the pits as soon as possible. So
Mitchell Chia's been very, very consistent.
he'll do this now.
Yeah.
He's now got into robot mode.
He's not lapping as fast as he was, but that's fine because the rest are not lapping as fast. They're not gaining more ground on him.
Well, how about that? Hayden Heichel just dropped off the pace completely. Lee Wai Chong is now again taken. That's the Aslan brothers.
That
And
was from before when they came in, right?
Yeah, they are now well off the pace if they are still in there.
I'm just looking at the monitor and we don't seem to
right
see
now
them.
they'll be on the second page
Yeah.
of that.
Oh
so
man, that's a big blow for them.
that is a big, big blow for them because they were technically
In contention.
still in the contention. So
Yeah.
now it is down to just the top two of Hayden Heichel and Mitchell Chia. But as you can see, that's Mitchell Chia coming through. Hayden Heichel has once again taken second spot, which means Lee Wai Chong and him are having a huge battle right now. Remember, Wai Chong's going to be coming in to change drivers. Rahul Raj Maya is the second driver for that car. But Mitchell, as I said, there's three different parts a great driver has: attacking, defending, and maintaining. This is maintaining. What he did beforehand was just watch and observing, but as soon as he attacked, he went into maintaining the lead. He's got nobody to defend against, so he doesn't have to push the car because reliability is more of a factor today. If anyone that has to push, it's that blue and gold Wing Hit Motorsports car that's coming up from behind, because Hayden has to make up that ground. It's going to be 100% clear in Hayden's mind. All he has to do is finish ahead of this car. He's obviously going to be very annoyed now because he's again seeing the back of Mitchell Chia's car.
This is also where experience comes into play so much, right? Mitchell Chia has driven on this course hundreds
He's
of times.
done it, and he's won it on a number of different tracks around Asia.
He's probably in Sepang more than he is back home.
Actually, that's where it's gone. I mean, he's probably more in other tracks than he's at home. So if anybody has, Hayden Heichel will race Sepang more than Mitchell Chia, because Mitchell, in the past anyway, has been on. He's raced as far as Germany, TCR. So a lot of experience for him, that's for sure. 11 laps in now. We're one lap off the pit window opening, and I'll stay open till the 45th lap.
And we've got another unspotting flag, at this time for car number 91. It's all coming to play now.
I wonder what it was they actually did, because so that's Divyesh Parajan, the number 19, that grey car, owner of DV Motorsports. And Divyesh is currently leading SB2V. That's why we got to have a look at him, and that might be him up front again. There he is. That's the leader of SB2V. And the leader by, well, just 0.4. No, in fact, it's just over a second. Doing well, Divyesh, right now. Yip Can Heng in TD Racing to TD12 in SB2G. And as we all know, 4 seconds between Mitchell and Hayden up at the top. There's Divyesh with his window down, getting a little bit of extra breeze. For all these drivers ahead of the Sepang 1,000 kilometer race.
That's happening in November.
It should be, yeah.
And we'll be back here for that.
To be honest with you, I've had such a busy schedule this year. I'm going to have to recheck that, but as we get through it, yes, we will be here for S1K, and it will be in November. That's absolutely for certain. Much a maintaining part of the race for all of these guys.
Speaking of Divyesh Parajan, I think, yeah, being in the lead now is really, really great for him. You know, he's not had the best of seasons
he
so
hasn't
far.
had the best of seasons.
You know,
I can tell you that without even checking.
Didn't even compete in many of the races.
Well, it's tough. I mean, you know, it is really hard for some of these smaller independent teams, especially, to get the funding ready to participate in all. They loved it. One of the targets at the beginning of the year is to finish the entire season.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think that sets the basis of participating in a big championship like this. You got to get the funding not just for one race, but in entirety of the race. You know, so all 4 rounds, and you know, if you want to compete in the S1K, then you know that comes into play as well. Speaking of Divyesh, he's only taken part in 2 races in the first round, and I think maybe because of the reasons we mentioned, you know, he was missing from round 2, round 3. So it's great to see him commanding that lead in the SP2V. So looking back at the MTC, Mitchell Chia still in the lead. We've done 13 laps already, 41 laps to go. Mitchell has just opened up another second advantage over Hayden Haikal.
Still not pushing though. 100%.
Still not pushing, yeah.
They're the only 2 cars on 237 at the moment, and that's how fast this track is allowing these cars to go. The pit window is now open until lap 45. That's a special treat for these guys to have a pit window open for that long. But with 2 5-minute compulsory stops needed, as you said, are they going to come in for 2? Are they going to come in for 1? Most probably 2, I would have thought, in terms of refueling. All the official
in terms
refueling.
of refueling, they probably still have a little bit more in the tank to
Splash
keep it
and
for
dash, yeah, it depends. Oh, the sun's come out. Well, the interior temperature in these cars is just going to skyrocket. First glimpse of sun this morning, in fact. Well, things could get very, very hot now, and that's actually going to favor Mitchell as well, who, as I said, Robot Mitchell right now is keeping it at 4.2 seconds ahead of Heikel.
Speaking of heat, we look at the heat, and it looks hot from where we are seated in our air condition, and even for the fans back home watching at home.
Commentators get it tough.
Just imagine for the drivers, you know, the heat is good for them in the sense that, you know, it gives them a nice ride, but the heat that they have to face inside the machine
Yeah, because they're wearing all the fireproofs as well.
Yeah.
So, there's air conditioning units are not included.
Not
It's
included.
It's just too heavy
Yeah.
to have in there. So you've got vents at the side, as you can see, that's bringing in air as well for them. But it is very, very hot indeed. And that now that the sun's out fully, that might be different. That, by the way, that battle that we were watching was actually Ong Chong Chin and Adam Mikhail in 3rd and 4th in SP2G. Pit window now fully open. As you can see, all these Honda mechanics and technicians already out. A lot of Toyota Yaris's, Toyota Vios's, Honda Cities, Suzuki Swifts, Honda Jazzes.
Essentially all cars that we see on the road on a daily basis.
All cars that we see and
Souped-up
argue with in
cars.
jams. But now, and we're so not used to seeing them going this fast because of the jams. But that's what is wonderful about this this championship.
Yeah, we got to
because it
see
is-
all these models displaying their true potential, right? Going at top speed.
They all use standard parts, manufacturer parts, except there are certain tweaks that are allowed in terms of roll bars and in terms of limited slips and stuff like that for the cars, in terms of making them race machines. So that's why you do have race versions of things like the Yaris and things like the Vios. But generally speaking, these cars have the same power to weight ratio and the same roll bars that we have in our cars at home. And as you can see, some damage there already.
Very well done by Adam Mikhail over there, just to get ahead of Ung Chon Chin. You're speaking about that battle earlier, and
Yep, that's
That's
right.
an ongoing one.
3rd and 4th, there's 0.4 of a second between them. And a lot of these little battles now turning up around the track. There's 221, that's the 6th place in MTC. That's Lee Kwok Ming from USJ Motorsports, which I'm guessing is in USJ.
USJ, Subang Jaya, represents where I'm
Yes,
from.
no, that's exactly it. No, that's the other thing, because a lot of these drivers, I know Mark Darwin, who's also another one of the drivers that we haven't seen, we'll be seeing probably tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
He has a workshop. So a lot of these guys have workshops and they have garages that are
They
in
do
these
this for a
areas.
living, right, essentially.
Their living is still motorsports and mechanics, but this is the pinnacle of it, to come up here and be able to race on such a great circuit as well. As to whether they get extra business or whatever from being successful, well, I mean, that's up to them. But I know their daily job is 2 things: being a race car driver, and it's also being a race technician as well. That's why they know so much about the cars. That is Hugh Koi Sin, another solo driver. Hugh, also from USJ Motorsports, currently 9th in MTC.
Yeah.
Actually having a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, Hugh Koi Sin has got sort of step
255.
up. He's not been having
479.
great lap times as well. He's lapping at 255.
Yeah, 255 is one of the lowest. In fact, 256 is the lowest lap time that we've had. 20-second spread from Mitchell Chia down to our 44th competitor. And that 20 seconds is all from braking distance, racing lines, and how brave you can be on the straight in terms of pushing your car, because pushing your car is one thing, braking your car is another thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Equally as crucial.
so maybe in a 1-hour sprint race, there's a lot of it. It's maybe 60% attacking, 40% defending. In this, it's about 30-30-30 in terms of maintaining, attacking, and defending.
Here's a guy who's doing slightly better, Leon Koo, whom we saw
it's a
earlier.
strange car actually to have in this MTC SP2 race. Much bigger car, much heavier car. That
Much heavier,
Civic.
yeah.
But still, yeah, 339, doing well. And that's power to weight is what it's always all about in motorsports. And these cars haven't got the biggest power to weight ratio. It's not as extreme as an F1 car, which is something like, just off the top of my head, I don't know, 300, 400
Yeah, it's about 300
kilograms,
kilometers per
700
hour.
horsepower. That's
Yeah.
that's crazy. And obviously, when you get to GT racing as well, you've got high-performance sports cars that again have amazing output, 600 horsepower to say a kilo. These guys have a lot less when it comes down to it. It's 1,600 cc, so very manageable. But what it means is that car can really get out of control. Alan Tia still in the pits. This was from before the pit window was open.
Yes, indeed.
So this is actually the second time they've come in as well. They're in the middle of a 3-minute pit stop. So this might be their official stop. One before. Bright sun now on the back straight. Mitchell Chia has marginally opened up a lead. 4.720 to 4.728. So not much. But both Hayden Heikel and himself are willing to sit on 238 and 237 and 238 laps right now for this part. What's going to be interesting now is when Hayden comes in and when Mitchell comes in. From what I know of Mitchell Chia and what I've seen of him, he's not going to come in for a while.
Yeah, he's usually a late comer, right, when it comes to pits. Hey, speaking of Lee Wai Kong, I mean,
he's dropped off the
he's
off the pack, isn't he? In fact, he's not even in the top 10.
we don't see him at all in our display monitor.
I have a funny feeling that Lee Wai Kong has bit the dust.
But we did not see any car issues that he faced.
No.
He just seems to have
He dropped off round about lap 3. So let's see, we're on lap 16 now. And it's still Mitchell and Hayden up top.
So with that, it has allowed Hayden Heikel to solidify that second place.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's now got almost a 20-second advantage over Aaron Lim.
So that should be Michael Benchley now in that car. Nico Civelli would have got out. Lots of driver changes going to be happening now.
There we see Hayden Heikel all by himself. He's got no one for company. He's all about the chasing. Still very much has Mitchell firmly inside. Mitchell only 5 seconds ahead. 5 seconds is a significant lead in this championship though. Hayden Heikel obviously with 4 runner-up finishes this season.
Yeah, he's not going to want to
Very,
do that
very-
again. Oh, I mean, he
Definitely
I'm
not
sure
intent on settling for his
I'm
fifth.
sure he wouldn't want to.
That's his current position at the moment, but we obviously have 38 laps to go, so it's a long way.
Well, I can tell you now, as I've just updated this, Lee Wai Chong is 11 laps, I think it's a DNF, 11 laps in. Because not being registered currently now, question marks all over the place. Last lap was a 2:40, 2:28. So one of those high rev dream chasers out on lap 11.
Car 101, we might see Farik Hairuman now taken over the wheel.
Yeah, you're right.
He's probably coming for Adam Mikhail. And Farik Hairuman, for me, is always known as the endurance driver. You know, he always done so well for himself, especially in the S1K races.
Oh, yes.
He knows about endurance racing, you know, going over long distances.
He's
So-
definitely done well. And also commentator.
Commentator
As
as
well,
well,
he's-
yeah. Very, very experienced driver.
Well, there's lots of drivers getting ready right now. A lot of traffic for Mitchell Chia to deal with at turn 1 in the bright sun. 4.675 now is the lead. Still hasn't come in yet. None of the top 6, in fact, have come in. Leon Koo has been in for 1 pit stop, and Bay Racing Team also for 1 pit stop. But everybody else, most of the DNFs at the bottom that have happened. The sun fully out now. Track temperature will be soaring, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Looking at lap times as well, it sort of dropped off a little bit from the last lap. Faster still Mitchell Chia, but he's now lapping at 2:38. I think it was 2:37 not too long ago, and his fastest, which has been the fastest so far, was at 2:36.
I wouldn't be surprised if the High Rev Dream Chaser team are currently updating him as to Hayden Heikel's fastest lap, and he's matching it to that.
Yeah.
Because that would be a really strategic thing to do. Now, the Aslan brothers were out on lap 4. And they have not been back. 13 laps later.
So it's a big blow for the Aslan brothers, for Lee Wai Kong, who started so well. He was our first leader.
Well, you know what the funny thing here is? The top 4 places in qualifying yesterday. And the top 4 places on the front 2 rows of the grid, the first 4 places on the grid, were High Rev Dream Chaser, followed by Wing Hin Motorsport. Now one of each has dropped off. Lee Wai Chong for High Rev Dream Chaser has dropped off, and the Aslan brothers have also dropped off for Wing Hin Motorsport. So it's not just about the individual achievement of Hayden and Mitchell, it's also about the team. They've both now got their best drivers left.
Yep.
And how's it going to go over the next, well 30 odd laps?
It definitely sets it up so nicely, right?
It sets it up very, very nicely indeed. Meanwhile, by the way, as we get to lap 17, great from TD Racing, 1-2 still for SP2G. Yip Kian Heng and Niao Jiming have done well enough, and they should have. In fact, they're still in there, haven't had their pit stops yet. Are going to be handing it over to Freddie Yang and Xiao Tung Wei. SP2V, Divyash Parajan, as we saw, ahead of Takashi Oi and Chankin Sam. Those are the top 3. There's about 7 seconds between them, and their overall 9th, 11th, and 9th, 10th, and 12th overall. We're just looking at Hayden Heichel right now, who has actually cut in a little bit, 4.576 now.
Yep, just a little bit from earlier. It was 4.7.
There he is. That's 4 position. 100th of a second far slower than Mitchell Chow at the moment.
But Hayden has also opened up a bigger lead to Putra Adam in 3rd place. So now he holds about a 23-second lead. It was about 19
those two
seconds.
Hondas were just trailing around in 4th and 5th, in 3rd and 4th, sorry. And yes, the great pace, because they've been lapping at 240 and 241, which is, I think, the top pace that they hit in qualifying, and I have to check that. But the 238 from Chia and Heichel means you can just imagine 2 seconds every single lap.
Yeah.
That's where you get your lead from. So they are pulling away. It is turning into the ultimate rivalry race, this round 4, race 1.
I think you're absolutely spot on with Mitchell Chia's team telling him how fast Hayden is going, because
he
in terms
accelerates.
of lap times, they are
He
almost
accelerates.
similar.
He accelerates when Hayden accelerates, and he decelerates when Hayden decelerates. Of course, that's even more frustrating for Hayden, because he has to accelerate.
Yeah.
He's the one chasing. But if you're up at the front and you're maintaining, and you have a clear track ahead of you and behind you, you can afford to do that. And that is a very, very smart thing, because what did Mitchell Chia say at the start of the race? He said, after turn 1, I'm not going to see him. Actually, what he meant
He was being
after,
serious.
he said after lap 2, I'm not going to see him, because he hasn't seen him, and he's not expecting to till maybe the podium, if it's at this rate. But of course, that's down to reliability as well. So this looks like Nico Civelli. In fact, that's Michael Daniel Beachley from Axel Sports, Beachley, I should say, from Axel Sports, and they're 10th in SB2V at the moment. A big battle going on there. Alan Tia back out on track, I'd say now. Lojia, she is in that car. And Lao Seng Kiat, in fact, should be, no, it's still Chu Yongchen. So nobody else, still nobody's taking advantage of this pit window. 7 laps in, there's only been 3 or 4 cars that have come in, and a lot of them have had serious problems to deal with. So that 91
This could be
car.
Freddie Young, right?
It should be. Well, I mean, it depends. Let me just check if they've come in. No, hasn't come in yet. So it's still Yip Kian Hian.
Yip Kian Heng. Yeah, they had due a big performance as well. This combination. 24 points accumulated so far. They're obviously not chasing for the championship, but it's all about doing the best you can, finishing as high as possible.
You know,
standings.
the other thing that I've learned from motorsports, and in fact from all sports, it's not even just motorsports, is you have to be realistic about what your goals are. If you turn up on the F1 grid as the slowest car and you say you're going to win the championship, then that's unrealistic. Because what you're hoping to do is hit top 10 6 times or hit top 3 times. And for a lot of these cars, it's not a question, because it's such a similar format and such a similar chassis, it's not a question of being that much slower, though that car is going very slow at the moment. It's a question of, have I got the right setup? Because it's also the team mechanics as well, how quickly you can get your pit stops done, how comfortable you are with putting out. We just saw with Mitchell Chia, when it's time to attack, he knows when to attack. Immediately, there's no extra attacking, stops into maintaining, into defending, right? That's the kind of efficiency you have to have in terms of thought. So some of these drivers in cars, like Divyesh Barajan's a classic example. You said he's had 2 starts this year. So his big target would be to make top 5.
Yep.
As it is he still leading right now? Yes, he is still leading, and he's leading by some 1 second. So in real time, he's doing well enough. But this is a perfect race for him so far, regardless of what happened this season. For someone like Mitchell Chow, who's won the championship before, he would be looking for 3 wins out of 4 for the year.
Yeah.
So it really is subjective as to what the targets are and how you're trying to do it. But in the end, you need to get your act together, and you need to get your act together on the day. That is important for Mitchell Chow to get past that back marker, as Hayden Heichel was hoping he was going to get stuck behind there. Mitchell Chow hardly ever gets stuck behind back markers. They're very, very courteous.
For Mitchell Chia, it's just only one goal, to maintain and take the title.
He's now speeded up again, so it's 5.006 seconds between him and Hayden. Hayden is now lapping 1 second slower, so this should be one of these phases where Mitchell starts pulling away a little bit. Now that, I think, is a very interesting battle. That's 3rd and 4th. That is Eddie Liu in the 90 car, looking for a switchback on turn 2. Doesn't find it. Adam Mikhail is still in that car, as they haven't come in for their pit stop yet. But I can tell you to have Leon Koo has come in for our engineering, and Yip Kan Heng is now going to be handing over to Freddie Young in the pits right now as we speak. In fact, they've been in there for 1 minute.
Yeah, speaking of Freddie Young, I think finishing 5th overall would be a good achievement. They are in 9th place now, so
yeah, that's exactly it.
Like you said, managing expectations, setting the most realistic target, taking
It's
into
part of
account
being
the
a good
performance of the
racer.
car as well.
It's part of being a good racer. If you know, there's so many things that differentiate speeds and lap times these days. Gone are the days, long gone are the days when people would come up and go, I'm just going to be faster than you. Everybody now knows how fast everyone is. And if you're up in the hallowed, revered ground of Mitchell Chow and Hayden Heichel, that you can consistently put out at 238, 239, 19 laps in. Let's not forget, Nick, this is your first season. This is where we'd be finishing any of the round races right now, lap 20.
Indeed.
It's 20 to 21 laps in and out. So most of the setups for the rest of this year have been for the car to
Tailor-made
stop
for
now.
yeah, as of right now.
Whereas we're only halfway through, you know? So in fact, less than halfway through right now.
So there has been so much of work that goes into sort of putting this car into marathon mode, to getting this car into 54
and there isn't a switch.
lap mode.
There isn't a switch. You know, sometimes these days you get in cars sport mode and driving mode and uphill and all these things, and the car automatically will do it. There isn't a switch here. This is the same car that runs the 1 hour races. So how, on paper, do you suddenly get another 34 laps out of a car that has been stretched at 21 laps?
And into a consistent performance as
Into
well.
a consistent
like what
performance.
Mitchell Chia is
So
doing.
there's
lapping
nothing.
so consistently.
There's nothing you can do in terms of technicality. You can't add a wing onto these cars. You can't add a turbo onto these cars, and you can't add an extra fuel tank onto these cars. So how do you do it? You do it exactly the way it's been happening. You push and attack for 2 laps. You maintain for 3 laps. You push for another 2 laps. You maintain for 3 laps. You make sure. That's a very odd position to be in the pit lane, with 1 wheel in the blending lane and 1 wheel in the work lane. That's not right. At all.
This
I know
is where we see a change, perhaps.
you get a lot of congestion.
Adam
to see that
Mikhail
car
just coming in, or
when he's
Farid
coming out.
Khairuman.
So we've got some, Adam Mikhail was in the car, so Farid Khairuman is now going to get into that car. That 101 car is in the pits. Yip Can Heng and Freddie Yang, as I said, changing over now. Divyesh Parajan's coming, one of the solo drivers. He was in the lead of SP2V. He's coming for his pit stop now. And I think, no, so Takashi Oi has moved up to SP2V leader, but hasn't pitted yet. And SP2G, well, no pit stops for the top two there, which is odd. No, sorry, TD Racing was leading. So their teammate, Niu Jimeng, is up there, up top right now, and is some 17 seconds ahead of Eddie Liu. Right there, in fact. Great directing. That's brilliant. Yeah. Eddie Liu is right there, who's now up into second at SP2G, and he's coming in late. I'm sure he hasn't pitted yet. But for us, sitting up here now, there's just a lot of information that's come up, because as usual, all the cars, or a number of cars, will come in for the early part of the window, the middle part of the window, or the late part of the window. Mitchell Chia still not in yet. Hayden Heichel still not in yet. And how much do you want to bet that they both know that?
Yeah, and they would probably come in the same time as well.
One of them's got to come in at some point. Now, this is where you get down to the manufacturers. You've got a Toyota versus a Honda. What's going to happen here? I think it's a Honda. It is.
Yeah, I would think the strategy is for both to come in at the same time, so they know exactly.
It'd be great for us, but that's where this race and that's where this championship is going to be decided. Because
yeah,
Mitchell has not managed to pull away from Hayden enough. So now, Mior is down at the pits, so we do get to go down to the pits, and we're going to get a very interesting insight from one of the Aslan brothers, is Nakib, as to what happened to them on lap 4.
Yes, guys, I'm now down here in the pits for car number 38. Nakib down here. Nakib, lap number 3, you were already out. Tell us what actually happened on the track.
Yeah, it's massively disappointing, especially being a 56-lap race. Out on lap 3, disappointing for me, disappointing for the team, massively frustrating, but we were fighting for position. I made the overtake. The driver must have seen me coming and decided to just, take me out of that. Lost the brake disc from that, so that was our race done, basically. Really annoying. Round 2 got taken out, round 3 got taken out, and final round got taken out. I don't think it's a trend. I don't think they like me very much.
All right, I mean, of course, when it comes to racing, you kind of anticipating this kind of thing happens, but as you mentioned, it must have been very, very disappointing for a 300-kilometer endurance race to be out as quickly as you did.
Actually, no, I don't anticipate people to crash me out. I anticipate people to race me fairly. I give back racing fairly as well, but clearly it's not reciprocated. But yeah, it's something that's really disappointing for me and the team, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Obviously, we'll try to do the best that you can later on, but ultimately, for the overall championship, you're quite secure, isn't it, for where you stand right now?
Yeah, at that point, I was really frustrated because I thought we were going to lose our third in the championship, but seems like Car 900 had a bit of an issue as well, so we can still lose it, but it's going to be very difficult for them, so yeah.
Cool. But whatever it is, we do hope that we get to see you at the overall championship presentation later.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, cheers. Jeef, Nick, back to you guys.
Thanks for that. So much to unpack from that interview.
The only consolation for the Aslan brothers is third place, right?
For this season, yeah. As you just heard from Nakib, second round was out, third round. I mean, there's only 4 rounds.
And fourth, yeah.
So if you think about it, over the 4 rounds, it was the 7th of May, 25th of June, that was round 2, 27th of August was round 3, and now the 24th of September, 23rd and 24th is, over that span of months, you only have these 4 opportunities to come out. You have 2 races every time. So now, again, it's being realistic. It's done. You're not going to win.
Just got to prepare for hopefully the S1K and come back stronger for the 2024 season.
Yeah, and there's not much else that the Aslan brothers could do, actually. Considering, I would go as far as to say they were probably one of the unluckiest teams this year. And Wing In Motorsports is such a fast car. They have a fast car. They have a good car. The Wing In techs and mechanics are so good at what they do that car was kept in good shape and was out there. It's racing situations that have put them aside, which is a shame. But yes, they're very young drivers. They've got a lot to do, as you can tell, even at their age. The only thing they anticipate is for other drivers not to crash into them, which I think is rule one when it comes to motorsports. I think that's one of the basic rules. Don't expect other people to crash into them.
Yeah. But I still have to commend them because despite being taken out, they still managed to maintain that third position, and it looks,
they gave it the best shot.
Yeah, it's still going to them. So
I think it's still going to them, but if I'm right, that means. Well, we'll be back right now. We're going to take a quick break here at the round 4 action for MCS. Join us in a minute.
Nerves of steel needed in sizzling conditions. It's time to seize the moment in Sepang. It's time to race in MotoGP.
Yokohama.
The biggest race of 2022 is here as we get set fully for China's Grand Prix in Malaysia. And look at Bagnaia. He's up to second. Close off. Back at Bagnaia. Up into second place. Fabio Quartararo clinging on to that third place. How close was that?
To all my fans, this year is our year. Come down to Sepang this November. It's time for Malaysian GP. Malaysia. 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 Jom ke Sepang, kasih gegar.
Welcome back to the Malaysia Championship Series Round 4 Finale Part 1. Very special situation happening this year as there's two parts. MTC and SP2 G and V racing today, and TP and SP1. The other two classes will be racing tomorrow. We are looking at our new race leader overall, Hayden Heichel, by default, because Mitchell Chia did pit at the 23rd lap. He's now on his out lap. Hayden's still to come in. So that big gambit, Nick, that we were talking about that might really decide the outcome of this race has already happened. Now, before we get to more info on that, let's get down to the pits again. It's Rahul Raj Maya that is talking to Mio.
Yes, guys, I'm now down here with Rahul Meyer, car number 900. Okay, first of all, I mean, it's unfortunate that you had to end your race quite earlier than you possibly would. But tell me what actually happened within those first few laps. It was a tactical masterclass I saw.
I think it is what it is. It was a fantastic start. Got a good run up the main straight to turn 1. Took a very early lead. Being maintained for about 2-3 laps, if I'm not mistaken. I saw Mitch coming up. Backed up Hayden a little bit, let Mitch go through, and the plan was essentially just to follow Mitch and Hayden all the way through. Saw Hayden scrubbing his tires, and I said, okay, I'll just stay here for 5-6 laps. get the jump and his tires finally give way. And came round turn 5, and either my engine or my gearbox decided to take a swift exit.
All right, well, was it because the fact that you were playing such a great defense with Hayden being, literally behind you? We could see on the screens it was millimeters away between yourself and Hayden. It was just your job to make sure that you give Mitchell that extra room for him to just go for it.
I mean, yes and no. Mitch does a very strong pace, so I didn't really need to back Hayden up that much. It was more so to maintain our own race position throughout without having to overstress the car, which unfortunately didn't play out, but that was the plan. But yeah, it was just maintaining, seeing what we could do, because we knew we had the pace over Hayden and Nakib, and I think I got the information that Nakib was out as well. So it was just a play safe game, but it didn't work out.
And ultimately, as mentioned as well, it's disappointing the fact that you could not finish the race, knowing that your closest rival in Nakib and Nabil, they actually went out in lap number 3. You could actually grab that 3rd place overall finishing, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts, but when we came into this year's MCS with the new Honda, it was an R&D year. We actually didn't even expect to be this far up with the Honda. So yes, you're right, we were actually racing for 3rd overall, knowing that we could. But I think ultimately we now know the car's weak spots, where we need to work on, where to focus, where to rebuild. So ultimately it is going to be for S1K.
All right, well, whatever it is, we do hope that we're going to be seeing you again the next time MCS, yeah? For sure. All right, Jeev, Nick, back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Mio, and of course apologies to Rahul Rajmai, who was actually in the start in that car. We thought it was Lee Wai Chung, so Lee Wai Chung never got to drive in the end.
Yeah.
Wonderful defending by Rahul Raj, and as you pointed out earlier, he just laid it all out on the canvas in terms of targets for this year, in terms of what they expected, how they view the car in terms of weak spots, and now trying to get everything ready for November and S1K. That is Mitchell Chia back out on track, and he is currently in 5th overall, but 14th overall, but 5th in class. And Hayden Heikel
is now
has
in
just
pit as
come
well.
into the pits, yes. So this is the next 3 minutes, which is how long Hayden Heikel is going to be in that pit lane, is what Mitchell Chia has to do, and I'm sure he's got to be lapping pretty fast. He's on a 2:37.442 at the moment.
It's insane.
And that's with as you can see, back markers to push himself through as well as he comes through turn 1. But that should get him in good stead. The Baha brothers, Avia and Alvin, are also in. They were running in 2nd spot in MTC. They're also to the pits, Lee Kwok Ming. And I do hope that these are the drivers that are in the car, by the way. I mean, we were just given our driving list at the beginning of the race. So it might be it was Mohammed Afiq that was in that USJ Motorsports 221. Either way, whoever isn't in the car is going to be getting in the car. Let's put it that way. Yu Chong and Wei Lang from Awesome Racing, they are also in the pits. Najib and Ferdaus also in the pits. Some interesting developments in SP2G and V. Takashi Oi and Ian Wong, who are doing quite well. 6th and 4th, they're in. Yukoi Sen also. So quite a few cars now. In fact, more than half the grid have been in. That's Hayden, and how long has he been in there? That's 3 minutes and 30 seconds into his.
And we were discussing earlier, the average pit time is about 5 minutes. That'll be a good time for them to get in and get out.
It has to be 5 minutes, but I think if you can get out there in, Go Li Heng, for example, came in and did a 5:06. Takashi Oi did a 5:02. That's beautiful. That's absolutely perfect. But Mitchell Chia did a 5:16. If you could do that, that's still good enough, because the main thing is to get that first pit stop out the way.
In fact, looking at the pit times, I think there's only two cars that have really gone way past that 5-minute marker. We have
Putra Adam.
Yeah, Putra Adam. That's
11
closing in on 12 minutes already. And Nico Civelli as well is going into 7 minutes. But this is not abnormal, right?
It's not usual.
It's not usual, but it happens because it's not just your customary fuel and engine checks, tire
It's not go to the
replacements.
doctor and call me in the morning and take 2 of these. It's definitely some kind of intensive care going on with that car. Jonathan Z's one of the biggest examples. I remember, I think it was earlier this year or beginning of the season before, 2022 season, where he was way out in front. And he was out in front by ages. And he went into the pits and 7.5 minute pit stop.
Yeah.
a
So
1 hour
must be
race.
big issues with the likes of Aaron Lim and Putra Adam.
There's
They've been in there for some
big
time.
issues in that car right now, and they're not being fixed. I really feel for the engineers and mechanics. So currently, with Hayden Heikel being in the pits, Leon Koo is actually taken over the lead in MTC at 26 laps.
Yeah, another solitary driver, Leon Koo.
But he's already bid in for his pit. That's the thing. Right now, he's legitimately up there at the front, and he's going to have to be taken out. And let's not forget that Leon Koo is one of those drivers that if he wins this race, might just upset the standings, if I'm right. Let me just check that
Leon
out.
Koo is on 33 points.
That's right. If he gets 30 points from this race, he's going to be on 63, and he's going to move into third place, which is currently occupied by the Aslan brothers. So Leon Koo, maybe, while we were watching Hayden Heikel and Mitchell Chia, has actually come out on top. Now, if he can keep lapping at a decent time, there is nothing to say he's not going to stay up there at the top.
More heartbreak for the Aslan brothers.
Maybe.
But
Right now, it's not happiness
Yes,
for them.
it's just interim positions. Things could change, of course.
Well, the
We've
other
yet
big
to
thing
see-
is there's another 5 minutes pit window. There's
Indeed.
another 5 minute pit
We've
stop.
yet to see Mitchell Chia back in full form, so those positions could change as we move along.
Well, there is actually one thing that I have to point out. I'm just looking at Leon Koo's stats right now. One pit stop, yes. 1 minute 18 was how long he spent in that pit stop. So that is not a pit stop because you're about 3 minutes and 40 seconds off. So I don't know what's going to happen with Leon Koo and our engineering. Good to see them up front right now, but we're going to have to wait and see. Hayden Heikel is now on his outlap. He's managed to come out in second spot right now, but I think he's a lap behind. Yes, he is, almost 52 seconds behind. That's Eddie Liu, who's in second spot right now and topping SP2G as well. And I think that's what we should talk about because Eddie Liu and Timothy Yo are the two front runners in SP2G. So, to be honest with you, we're not really going to see these positions settle down because the pit window is always going to be open. There's always going to be people going in there.
So there's going to be
But what I can
constant
tell you,
change.
as a fact, there is Leon Koo right now. And best lap, as I said, last lap was a 2:42. Best lap was a 2:37.390. A 2:37.390 would put him right in contention for everything. But there are massive question marks as to Leon Koo's first pit stop, which looks to be 1 minute and 18 seconds. Now, whether that was an accident, whether it's a glitch on our computers, which I highly doubt, I have a funny feeling that he's going to be pulled up for that. More unsporting flags, 2 in fact, 66 and 320. Well, I'll have to check to see exactly who that is. But good to see our engineering up at the front again. As I said, one of the most successful teams in recent MCS racing. Maiwi Singh's wonderful our engineering team, obviously running a couple of, 1, 2.
They are due a good performance though, the R Engineering. I think they did really well for themselves in the first round, second race, where they got 10th spot. But ever since then, it's been sort of a little bit underwhelming.
Champions, and not only previous champions, during the pandemic years as well, the car that was ruling it was actually that car. Having a look back now, that's not traction at all. You know, that might have left something on track as well. So that looks like one of the Tedco Racing, one of the Bay Racing cars. I think it is. That's Go Li Heng. In fact, that's Fu Yang Chia for Tedco Racing. Yes, it is because they've had one pit stop. So they were running for 5th right now. That looks like a full course yellow. It is. There you go. You wanted one. Lap 27, full course yellow. All cars down to 80 kilometers an hour. And that is, I'm sure, to deal with that big spin that we just saw from Fu Yang Chia. And they're just going to check to see if there's any oil or debris on that track. So a little bit of a rest situation for the drivers. Thankfully, not from the most serious shunt at all. So how is this going to play out? Well, there is still There's a couple of really smart drivers. Eddie Liu's come in just before the full course yellow.
Well, I think Mitchell is back to his full form. He's actually posted the fastest lap ever since coming out of pit, right? And so we should be seeing him back in pole position.
Not just that. Of the 27 laps, can you remember one lap where Mitchell Chow was not 239 or under?
Yeah.
So, and that is the fastest reigning speed. So that's what we're talking about, consistency. That's what we're talking about, reliability. And he might now currently be 4th overall and 2nd in class. Hayden Eichel, by the way, is just behind him as well, still 5 seconds behind him. So even after the first pit stop, they are still quite close together. But both of them, as I said, they've come out, and of the 27 or 28 laps that we've had so far, I'd say 27 with the full course yellow, they have put in 237 or 238, pretty much standard.
You made a very interesting point about Leon Koo and, you know, that pit time. So I think he's due a big pit after this.
Well, he's in the pits now.
He's in the pits now, and
there he is.
This is the actual pit.
Yeah, but then what do you do with that 1 minute 18? That's the thing. There was
Seems like a wasted.
It was a very strange thing. So maybe it was a little bit of glitch work, or they had to correct something like a driving fault before the 12. Yeah, that's a big. That's Roy Koo and William Chong from R Engineering, another one of the R Engineering cars that has come in, and the last lap they put in was a 2:53.414. Just coming up to about 1:30 local time. Don't forget, everyone watching, do get your comments and all of your thoughts in on the Facebook page. And while we've got the time, remember, it's a very special finale at the Malaysia Championship Series in 2023. 2-part race. It's because of the massive registration numbers that we've seen all year. 42 cars just from MTC, SP2G and SP2V racing today, and Touring Production and SP1. That's the likes of Anwar Avik and the likes of Jonathan Z and everybody else, starting tomorrow at 1 p.m. So double racing action for everyone. Well, that looks like Mitch.
Yeah, it is.
Well, what's he
Mitchell,
doing?
yeah.
What is he doing in there? He's just made his 2nd pit stop.
Yeah, he's pitted again. It's a very interesting strategy.
Why would he want to do that,
So
I
perhaps
wonder?
the first pit was not to fuel up.
Well, it's also to do with the full course yellow. The full course yellow really changes things when you've got cars moving around at this pace. That is Mitchell Chow out of the car, getting cooled down. That's where you're talking about solo drivers and what they have to do. Well, I guess maybe he thought take the 2nd pit now, while it's a full course yellow, and come out, and then go.
Which is a good strategy as well, because seeing that you have only 26 laps to go,
he's got.
It could be pedal to the metal as soon as he gets out.
So Hayden Heikel has not come in. He's still on 1 stop, but he's going to have to make a 2nd stop because it's 2 compulsory 5-minute stops. So maybe this is a masterstroke from Mitchell Chow, and he's just put them all together in one big 10-minute pit stop.
So he's pitted twice in what, 10 laps?
He's pitted twice in, I think, 5 laps. 23. He came in at
23. Now
came
he's
in lap 23, and he's in again at lap 28. So
yeah, 5 laps.
That's why I was wondering if there was a problem with the car, maybe, but I don't think so. I think he's just taking advantage of the full course yellow. But it does muddy the waters a bit when you have a full course yellow at the exact same time as your leaders are coming into the pits. You can see the change in pace immediately. And I'm sure there's Hayden Heikel, in fact, right behind the safety car. Toyota Supra, the new Supra. Beautiful car to have as a safety car up here. Still no rain, that's one thing.
You won't be needing your umbrella as of now.
Well, for sun as well. Remember, for sun. It works both ways in Malaysia. All the cars have been asked to keep on the left side for turns 12 and 13. That's these two. And I think that's where they are expecting either some oil or some debris to have been down, laid down. Perhaps can you get a look at the track and see? No, looks okay, looks okay. Marshals are out, there they are. They're putting down the oil absorbent sand. Good, if that's the case, then you could probably get back to racing in the next lap or two, I would have thought. But it is a very, very fascinating time when you've got... So Mitchell Chia is now coming up to his second 5-minute marker with his... And I wonder if he's just going to get out and join the train now with his 2 stops completed. That's the important part. Hayden Heikel has still not come in for that second spot. There he is, you can see him on screen.
And perhaps the strategy was made looking at when Hayden pitted as well.
Maybe.
And the team thought, okay.
I've never really seen this happen before. I've never seen someone come in.
It's good that we do it almost back to back.
Well, Hayden's coming in right now because I think maybe they just told him. So, but again, it's on full course yellow for another lap or so, so why not? It's perfectly legal. But that's going to be the difference. Is that, so Mitchell didn't, oh yeah, he's staying in. He's staying in for exactly 5 minutes because that would be an infringement. So there he is, and he's now, well, no, he's still there. He's at
should be coming out to his out lap soon.
Yeah, he should be coming out of that pit lane very soon. Doesn't need to stay in there. In fact, it's 5. No, still in there.
And the Baha brothers have come in as well.
So all of the front runners have now come in for their second quick spot, and that's all down to this full course yellow being at the exact, you could say, right time or wrong time.
Because after the completion of the full course yellow will essentially be for the
it depends
at the actual 21 course 21 lap.
Yeah, so
race,
if you want to kind of do that, hopefully we don't get any cars running out of petrol at the end. You can come in for a third spot, I'm guessing, but those 2 5-minute spots, pit stops, have to be the ones that are marshaled perfectly. So Hayden is now 1 minute into his second. Flag still waving, as you can see. Baha brothers also on a minute. So I think that really does it. From what we can see, that looks like it was communicated to them that Mitchell came in immediately.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of has set that all off. Well, plenty of action in the first 27 laps, as I said.
And so, essentially, we could see the final stoppage as of now, right? Once this pit window is over.
It could be. There's Hayden. There he is. For Miami, he's out the car now. He's probably getting his own rest. No, he isn't. So you can see the differences. Mitchell Chia got out the car, was having the water and stuff like that.
Back to fitness, right? Again, with what Hayden spoke earlier. He's ready to go, essentially, whereas...
But that's what I was saying. Do you know that you're ready to go? The sun could get hotter. The sun, you know, you should have a basic standard protocol of what you should do if it's a hot day or if it's a wet day, whatever, to get out and get, like, you know, there's plenty of times where you might not feel hungry, but it's going to do you well later on to eat. So balancing that out, and I just think that maybe, just maybe, Hayden is a little bit more frustrated than Mitchell and would want to push more.
Very understandable. He's been playing
he's a great driver. I said, you know, and I've seen him do long stints before, so it's not like he can't do it, but it's on the day with the current environment, the amount that you have to push, and he's going to have to push a bit more. So Leon Ku's come out now. That's 2 stops done. 5 minutes in the pits. I wonder if he came in, because if your requirement is to do 10 minutes in the pits, I wonder if he took 2 pit stops to make up to 5 minutes 11, which is, and then now his second pit or his third pit stop will try and get another 5 minutes in. But again, I mean, this is for race control to really
different strategies, different racing styles. Very evident.
I think all the strategies got kicked out the window as soon as Mitchell came back in for the second spot. still on yellow flag conditions. Very difficult time for drivers to have to slow down and keep at this pace. Different type of maintaining. This maintaining is not your choice. This maintaining is done by that front car. That's, of course, you can't overtake that car
80
either.
kilometers an hour, so you're effectively going at 120 kilometers slower.
Yeah.
100 to 120 and
roughly. These cars are probably going to do about 140, 150, but now apparently there was just a note to all the drivers to line up and stay aligned behind the safety car, but not in any kind of formation yet.
And the reason for this is because of oil.
Yeah, absolutely. Oil on turn 12 and turn 13. And those are fast corners as well, so it's important to make sure, as I said, the sand that they put down doesn't get rid of the oil, because you can't get rid of the oil, but it gives a layer on top which your tires can get traction on, and that's the most important thing. So it's not actually absorbing oil, because that is impossible, but it's creating a new racing surface on top of the oil so that you don't suddenly slick out and get massive traction loss when you're doing 160 kilometers an hour. It's not ideal. Definitely one more lap coming. But this doesn't affect the overall distance of the race, so we are still eating away into the 300 kilometers. 24 laps to go now, roughly coming up to another MCS round race.
Yep.
21 laps to fire for.
Keeping in mind the cars have been out for close to 2 hours.
And it started getting really hot about half an hour in, so...
Indeed, yeah.
So now that was turn 10, and I'm guessing that this is going to be where more people in the pits right now. So Leon Koo has come in for his third pit stop. That's what I was talking about. I think maybe you heard our commentary, maybe you realized he was 1 minute 18, but the second one got him up to 5 minutes, and now this third one will put him onto where he's supposed to be, or else I'm sure he's just going to get a drive-through penalty at the end of the race, which is even worse because you can put in so much of your time. That looks like Eddie Liu.
So essentially we could see Mitchell Chia back up there as faster than expected.
Much faster than expected, yeah. We could also see Hayden Heichel up there as well. He's just completed his second stop.
And so both of them left off each other at about 5-second gap. It'll be interesting to see when they take up their respective positions what that gap is.
It's kind of up in the air now because there's still more laps to come. And in terms of the pit window, well, as I said, we're on 29 laps now. The pit window is going to be open till lap 45. It should be all-out racing for the top two. Look at all the water that's going into these cars as the track temperature starts going through the roof here at Sepang, and it will be up.
Be at least
it's got to be
34, 35
no, more than that. It'll be 40, 45, 48. And we've just got news that we're going to green flag racing after this corner. So all the cars now have to watch themselves as they speed up again. So around turn 15. Safety car peels off, and we'll be back to green light racing. Well, I would have been really surprised if we went through 54 laps and didn't see a full course yellow.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like the MCS at all. So back to racing, and as I said, even with that sand down on turns 12 and 13, they're going to have to watch themselves on that racing line. You do not want to be throwing yourself around, I can tell you that. So now, as we settle into positions, well, Hayden Heichel is down in 14th. Mitchell Chia is down in 10th, is up in 10th. They're third and fourth in MTC. Leon Koo is still, even in the pits, leading because he completed 30 laps. And Mohammed Afik is now in second spot for USJ Motorsports. Subang Jaya represent, there you go.
You can see Mitchell Chia just slowly coming right back up to pole
Well,
position.
he's got to do his analysis again as to what's happening and then attack or defend or maintain, but he will fall into one of those three modes.
It amazes me to see how fast he gets back up to speed and, you know, assumes control of the race. You know, he just speaks a lot about the driver's confidence as well, you know, as to how fast he gets to assume position and, you know, maintain that speed.
Yeah, it takes a lot of thinking, that's for sure. Certainly isn't easy in terms of balancing how you're going to approach the race, especially when you have things like full course yellows that you can't plan for. They turn up, but currently there's only 4 cars, the top 4 cars are on 30 laps, so there's a lot of work that needs to be done because they've all just used up all their pit stop cards as well.
Yeah.
Eddie Liu's going to have to come in again, and R-Works Rios, William Chong, he's going to have to come in, Mohammed Afiq's going to have to come in. So basically, second to 10th have to come in for another stop. So Mitchell Chia is guaranteed going up to top 3 because he's already done two stops. It's a question of when the rest of them come in to do it.
As of now, just looking at the time difference, Mitchell Chia has about an 8-second lead over Hayden, but this is, of course, you know, just considering the fact
they have to.
They just came out.
Yeah, they have to allow these other cars to come in. That should be in about 10 laps from now on, when we've got about 14 laps to go. So lap 40, I'm expecting everyone from 2nd to 9th to come in for their second stop. So Mitchell's already jumped up to 5th because of that, because people are beginning to drop in.
Yep.
Eddie Liu's moved up to the top. Leon Koo is coming out for his of his out lap from his 3rd lap, so he's done exactly 5 minutes. He's now up to speed. He has paid the piper when it comes to pit stop timing, because you don't want that to come back and start messing up your race in 10 laps to go. You just don't want that to happen. He's down to 3rd. The top 2, Eddie Liu and William Chong, are both going to have to come in for second stops. So for now, they are leading. And Hayden Heikel, as you can see there, making his way through the pack, currently in 11th. Mitchell Chia doing exactly the same thing, and he's currently in 5th.
A lot of different dynamics, you know, just looking back at the previous races. If you look at round 3, race 1, you know, it's Jonathan Z. He was leading for almost the entirety of the race, and then when he came to race 2, there were a few different leaders, and then ended up with Jonathan Z almost winning, but Tauhid Anwar essentially took that up. And now, you know, coming into this race, we've seen Mitchell Chia, you know, with a dominating performance.
I think that performance is still good enough to win it. I still think that if he's, because if you look at his times, he's still lapping at 240. So this is the slowest we've seen him.
Yeah.
240. Everyone else above him, 247, 250, 247, 301. He's lapping 10 seconds faster than the people ahead of him. So I still think he's on, in terms of the car being reliable and his skill and efficiency in putting out his driving skill, he's still on course right now. If we do the same appraisal of Hayden Heikel, well, he's lapping at 240. He's currently in 11th, and everyone above him is lapping at 248, 248. In fact, all of them are lapping 8 seconds slower than him. Best laps. So he is going to come through. You can see him on your screen doing it right now. It's a question now of, now they have the speed. And it looks like, touch wood, they have the cars. Have they got the time to do it? 23 laps to go, 2-minute laps. Yes, they both have the time.
Both of them are the fastest driver as of now. And
and
like
they will meet at the top 2 positions.
Correct.
With hopefully 7 or 8 laps left to go, and then it's
that's
game
when it
on.
gets really
it's game on
tasty.
again. Yeah, that's exactly, and that's what's, you know, that's the real highlight for this race is going to be that. Now that we've seen the Aslan brothers challenge fade, and of course Leon Ku's challenge fade as well. Where is he now? Leon Ku is in 4th. Snuck up on us all, Leon Ku. Just did not see that happening at all.
Yeah, before we know it, he's already in his 3rd lap.
He was leading. And not only that, he went back and corrected all of his pit stop times as well.
Pit stop, yeah.
So he's 35 seconds behind, but he's lapping. Well, the last lap that Leon Ku did was 7 minutes 36 seconds. That was with the pit stop.
Indeed, yeah.
So we're going to have to wait and see what he does on the next lap, but he might be the only one that's as fast. USJ Motorsports, but currently Hayden Heikel and Mitchell Chia are now 5th and 6th, and they are lapping at 2:37 and 2:39. So they've already started their fight, and that 5th and 6th will go to 3rd and 4th, will go to 2nd and 3rd, will go to 1st and 2nd because they have enough time to do it. But just keep an eye on their times, because Mitchell hitting 2:37 means that's it, he's done.
Yeah, that's almost his fastest lap.
That's
not
almost,
quite.
yeah, the fastest way we've
And
seen
looking
from
at
him.
Hayden 2:39, so both of them have gone faster than the previous lap.
Well, only 2 cars that are under 240 at the moment.
Under 240.
Eddie Liu, 248. So he will be lapped, that's for sure. Question is, and of course has to come in for the 5-minute stop. So in terms of the things that can work for you and work against you, everything is still on the table for Mitchell Chan, Hayden Heikel. But right now, if it ended like this, then yes, Mitchell Chia is gonna win this championship.
I think it's so interesting, the dynamics of this endurance race where you start off hot and heavy, so you see, your front 3 runners, and it looked like, you know, that might be the front 3 runners, and then you have all the other stories unfolding.
If it's a sprint race, then
Pitting,
that's
full
probably
course,
it.
yellow.
So now imagine, this is a 3-hour race, or this is in fact a 2-hour 45-minute race. I've had the privilege of commentating before on Asian Le Mans Series, 6-hour races. So if you start, whatever happens in the first hour, you have untold amount of laps and times and strategies to try and make up the difference. You can still make it even if you're 2.5 minutes behind. You can still make it if you keep at this pace and you keep going. Of course, the car has to stay with you. The car has to be reliable with you. Then, so Divyesh Parajan, is that coming in? Yes, he is. Previous leader of SP2V, not anymore. He's now 2nd in SP2V, and this will be his 2nd pit stop. So nice, calm, conservative strategy for Divyesh Parajan, coming in exactly when he's supposed to come in. The rest of these guys will come in, as I said.
Yeah, I think it's a great time for Divyesh to come in now, you know, being in 2nd place. He's held that 1st spot for quite a long time.
That is interesting, because the number 39 car is Hayden Heikel, and he just got done for unsportsmanlike conduct. Maybe he's sick again of seeing the back of Mitchell Chia, because
and
he
what
is.
does that mean for Mitchell Chia?
He is, that's for sure. And he just put in a 2:39.575, so he's burning it around this track at the moment. But he did get an unsportsmanlike flag just now. And I wonder.
They're still in 5th and 6th though. They've not moved up as of now.
Now, you know what? I'm actually wondering if that was an unsportsmanlike flag for 339. No, it is. There you go. Driving conduct. Number 39. Unsporting flag. Driving conduct. Now, what was that? Right? It's not about indicating, that's for sure.
Does that do anything to hurt his chances?
Yes, it does. Absolutely it does. Because if you get smacked with a penalty for that, stop and go penalty, even if it's 1 second stop and go penalty.
Yeah, that's got to hurt him.
He's racing the fastest guy on track, so he doesn't need any of this, if I may say, nonsense, even though it's not nonsense. It is absolutely the law, but to a racing driver, you don't need things that are stopping you.
Especially at this stage when you're, you know, chasing the leader with 21 laps to go.
As I said, you want all of these things to open up for you. So wherever you are right now on track, if you've got the car that's working well, if you're putting in decent lap times, these are all things working for you. right? If you've got rivals up front that have retired working for you, right? Sportsman-like, unsportsmanlike working against you. You've got stop-and-go penalties working against you. So, oh, what's happened there? They are both up. Still, there is Hayden Heichel, and we're all waiting with bated breath to find out exactly what happens to him. That's the distance between them right now, and we strongly are expecting both of these guys to push forward because they are currently the two fastest cars on track by far, 2:38 and 2:39. That is race pace for those two, and that's what I find incredible, that even though they're 5th and 6th, they still managed to put in 2:38, 2:39. It is not about having clear track ahead of you. It's literally about how you approach the circuit.
It's also it's going to take a big testament for Hayden to now make up the 12 seconds.
Well, he's first. I mean, you got to look at these things as what's job one. Job one for Hayden Heichel is to start lapping faster than Mitchell Cher. He's not doing that. He's still losing.
That's the first box to tick.
Yeah, he's still losing a second, so it doesn't matter about whether you're 12 seconds back. It doesn't matter if you're 5th or 6th. Make sure you start doing 2:37s, and then we can start talking on this table. If he can, he's got 20 laps to go. So if he gets to 2:37, sad to see that other car and sitting in the pits there. Yeah, I know, guys. That's the only thing you can do right now, isn't it? But it's a beautiful looking car.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. 20 laps to go. If he... well, it is a shame, but you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm sure they wish they could be doing other things right now. As I was saying, 20 laps to go. If he puts in a 2:36, that's 40 seconds. Because it's 20 laps and he's lapping 2 seconds
consistently
faster.
over
40
each lap.
seconds, and he's going to win it.
And he needs, bear in mind, he needs Mitchell to sort of drop off as well.
Mitchell's not going to do that from now on. Mitchell is not going to do that.
Mitchell has to go slower than 2:38 to 37.
I said earlier that there are 3 modes to Mitchell Cher: attack, defend, and maintain. You'd expect him to be maintaining now.
So does it look like
not.
Mission Impossible or Mission Improbable for...
It's Mission Improbable
for
because right now, Hayden Heichel, Mitchell Cher is lapping 1 second faster than him. So he's going to add 20 seconds to this situation by the end of the race.
Yeah.
At full pelt. So it's all up to this car here. It's all up to Hayden Heichel and whether he can push another second out of this car. That's what it comes down to. If he does that, then it's game on. If he doesn't, then there's 2 things that can happen. Mitchell can drop off the pace because he's pushing this car to the max right now. He drops off the pace, and then we might see Hayden Heichel come down. So there's a big reliability factor in there as to if both cars cater as paribus, if both cars are at peak level, which they've been on track now for 35 laps.
Yeah.
If it's peak level, then this is what's going to happen. Mitchell Cher is going to win this race, and he's going to win by about 15 seconds, based on what we've seen now. If the reliability comes in, that Hayden's car is a little bit more reliable, and Mitchell has to start nursing this car, then we might be able to see Hayden Heichel come through. But all in all, this has been a masterclass from High Rev Dream Chaser.
Yeah, and it has been for the last few races, right? I mean, this is not an uncommon sight.
It's not an uncommon sight.
On his own.
It's not an uncommon sight. There is Hayden Heichel. As I said, he's closing in, I think. But so Mitchell is actually, let's see, 5 seconds ahead of him. Yeah. Because it's 17 and no, he's 13 seconds ahead of him.
13 seconds, yeah.
13
so it's
seconds,
still the
sorry.
same, about the same.
God, it's getting confusing. I'm going to need a piece of paper to write all this stuff down. But basically, if it stays like this, Mitchell Cher will stay ahead. And of course, by nature of the fact that he's lapping 12 seconds ahead of everyone ahead of him, in the next 19 laps, he's going to catch them. So a lot of things that we're predicting, a lot of things that we're speculating on as to what could happen, some of those things will come through, some of them will be changed by something else.
Yeah.
The last thing we want right now is another full course yellow, because that is going to hammer was going to take 7 laps off whatever calculation Hayden Heikel has to make. Now remember, Hayden is not in an active position. He can't do anything about this except get round in 2:36, which we've seen him do. What was his fastest lap?
He was 2:37. Mitchell has posted the fastest at 2:36.
So even if he matched him at 2:37, Mitchell's on a 2:38.
Yeah.
So you could still start cutting
Mitchell
into it
has
and
been,
start putting pressure in.
I think the only time Mitchell has not been the fastest driver is when he pitted. That was the only two times.
I can tell you exactly when. It was basically lap 28 when he came out from his second pit stop.
Which was in lap 23.
He did a 2:40.
2:40, yeah.
Which is still 10 seconds faster than the top 4 people in our classification now. So that was his slowest lap, was lap 29, 2:40. Everything else, as far as I've logged it, has been a 2:37, a 2:38, or a 2:39. A 2:37 is his attack time, a 2:38 is his maintain time, and a 2:39 is his defending time. All 3 of those times will win you the race.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's how close he keeps his excellence, I should say. Really.
Like for Hayden, I noticed he's so much more fascinating to see when he's attacking. Now that he's on his own, it's interesting to find out what's the mentality behind, whether he's still keeping at the same pace, whether there's that determination factor for him to keep attacking with that same vigor. Because we saw how he is attacking Rahul Raj Mayer.
It's harder. This is an isolation drive that we're seeing now.
Yeah.
And in fact, endurance racers do have a knack of getting into isolation drives. Very different driving situation from a conflict, a combat drive, a battle basically, because the car behind you is pushing you and the car ahead of you is almost pulling you into a certain lap time. It's very easy to move into a maintaining thing when you're in an isolation drive. And what Hayden has to do, he has to push himself. He's now lapping at 2:39. So remember, he's going to be under strict rules from his team, because they're going to know that Toyota might not be able to do 2:37 laps for 54 laps. You're risking so many things, okay? And not only, of course, the one thing that affects everyone, which is fuel. So they have to make sure, now that their 2 stops are done, it's up to you however many stops you do from now on. But the 2 compulsories are done for both of them. It's up to them as to... And just as a point of interest, Mitchell Chia actually lost 20 seconds to Hayden Heikel's pit stop as well. The second pit stops were 5:34 and 5:14. So all of this stuff adds up. When it comes down to it, you do the best you can on the day.
So we can say that Mitchell is working doubly hard when he gets back on track to make up for the time he lost during pit.
Yeah, but then his standard racing time is double fast to everyone else.
Yeah.
And what did I say earlier on? People love doubles. They love buy one, get one free. And for Mitchell Chia, you buy 1 lap, you get 1 free. Okay, it's simple as that. My nickname for Mark Darwin is the Flash, because he's the fastest man I've ever seen. He did like a 2:24 once on this track. Never seen a car go around in a touring car that fast. Mitchell Chia, it's buy 1, get 1 free. You buy 1 championship, you get 1 free. You buy 1 race, you get 1 free. And you buy 1 lap, hot lap, and you get 1 free. Divyesh Rajan doing well there. Where is he now? He is actually, believe it or not, 7th in class. So...
Oh, he's dropped off.
Yeah, he's dropped off. He's dropped off massively, in fact.
Yeah.
And he's currently lapping at 2:47. And that is a battle that he's having right now with an SP2G car. In fact, that is Ku Chi Yen. 14th in SP2G.
Wonder what happened. He was doing so well. He was, in fact, second when he came in for his
He was
pit.
second when he came in, but that's the other thing. It's not just about reaching number 1, it's staying at number 1. Now, let me ask you, you've got Divyesh Rajan, who had a standard... Oh, before we get to that, we're going to get down to the pits again. It is the all-ladies team, Race Rally KL, talking to Mio.
That's right, guys. I'm now down here together with Gladys, car number 5. She was the one who was starting the race earlier, and now Vera is actually doing her bit after the first pit stop. So, Gladys, how was that start earlier?
I think I got one of my better starts of the year lah. I started pretty, I had a pretty good start, but the MTC cars just pulled on the straights. So hopefully I'll get them again lah.
Yeah, obviously, I mean like there's no comparison actually, because the fact that you are racing in the SP2 class and it's a different kind of machine. But obviously for this one, in comparison with round 1, 2 and 3, it's all about endurance 300 km. How does that compare with previous rounds?
Correct. Okay, actually, previously I was driving the Jazz, and then right now I'm driving the Swift. So for both Vera and I, this is actually the first time we are hopping into the Swift also. But then at the same time, as you mentioned, it's an endurance race. So, you know, we have all the time to really get used to the car. And it's really just consistency, being consistent, I guess. That's our goal for today. As compared to the previous races where it was a bit more pressure, you know, especially with the Jazz is a little bit more, you gotta drive it a little bit more aggressively, I think. Yeah, whereas the Swift is a little bit more, how do I put this? You gotta really carry the speed in. It's a little bit more smooth as compared to the Jazz, so it's a little bit different. Yeah.
No, I just love how you describe, you know, the difference between the Jazz and the Swift and how it feels specifically to the driver. But one thing's for sure, again, we're maybe about 5 laps in before Vera comes in and you taking over for the last bit of the race. So what are your expectations, obviously, for round 4, you know, finishing this?
Oh, what are my expectations? To be honest, I really just want to beat my personal best. I just want to get better and better. Yeah, that's my goal, at least for this year.
Of course. All right, so I wish you the best of luck to Vera as well. Gladys, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Thanks a lot, Mio. Great to see, obviously. Malaysian Championship Series have fantastic to have an all-female racing team. And as we were talking about earlier, your targets as an individual and as a team are completely different. And some people, it's just literally getting a faster lap.
just going out there and doing your best. And, you know, it's just about personal records, right?
Yeah, all of these
Bettering
things. We were just talking about Mitchell Chera as we watch him on screen as well. All those things that we allocate to Mitchell Chera, fastest lap, being consistent, maintaining, attacking, defending. Each of those things can be a goal for drivers that are just starting out. Well, I just want to get a faster lap. I just want to learn how to maintain, attack, and drive. So to be a great driver, you need all of those things put together, and you need to be able to push it out all the time. So for Vera and Gladys, fantastic to them. Right now they are 7th in class in MTC, and makes them 20th overall. But to them, it is just about getting out and getting the fastest
also getting used to their machines, right? It moved from a Jazz to a Swift. So
a couple of wheels off there for somebody. And who is that? That's Xiao Tung Wei from TD Racing, who are currently 2nd in SP2G. So they really need to pull that in. I'm one of these people that if you're going to put a couple of wheels off track, be 15th. Don't be 2nd or 1st, because that's really going to wreck things for you, and that's going to cause headlines. And we still have headlines coming, I can tell you that. Mitchell Chia is now up to 4th place overall, 2nd in MTC. He's rapidly closing into Leon Koo. He's now just 6 seconds behind, but he's on the same lap, the 38th lap. That's important because he was on 37. Hayden Heichel is also on 38 laps, but is it's about
Mitchell has just dropped off a second. He was at 238, whereas Hayden has maintained at 239.
Yeah, they are both now lapping at the same time. So
still both the fastest drivers on track.
That calculation that we were making has just been...
It has been maintained. It's almost status quo.
It might now be too late with 16 laps left to go. As I said, I'm expecting a charge from both of them. For the likes of Leon Koo, well, snuck up on all of us, did Leon, today, and is 3rd right now, and is currently being chased by that high rev Dream Chaser car. I'm expecting that to be a huge battle. There is the car. There is Leon. This is the next battle that you're going to have to watch, because that is a completely different car as well. There's a lot more weight from that
Leon's done well for himself so far.
Leon's done fine.
Coming in for 3 pits and, you know, still being in contention in 3rd place.
Well, you know, the one thing I can tell you about our engineering over the last 5 years, I'm going to say, because that includes the pandemic as well. Very reliable finishers. If there's one thing Lai Wei-Sing and his team knows how to do, is keep the car in good nick. As we saw, Tawid Anwar is one of the big drivers for touring production for them. Last time out, he went straight off the track. So if something's going to happen to an R engineering car, most of the time, and I'm going to touch wood for this one, most of the time it is to do with the race itself. So a shunt, a knock, out in the gravel, but engines and keeping the car running, that's one of the most reliable teams I've seen. R-Works is another one with Ken Urata, of course, and love Ken Urata. I think it's great. We'll be watching him tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Of course, can't wait, actually. This is the great thing about having this, I'm going to say new. As I said, I'll just stress that it is not the new format. It's for this season to deal with the large amount of cars that come in this season. If there's a huge registration next season, then maybe this will happen again. It's one of the many formats that the Sepang International Circuit have had to come up with to just keep things nice and balanced. So 4 seconds now. Mitchell Chia is behind Leon Koo.
Mitchell Chia has just dropped off another second. He's now lapping at 240. He's
Yep.
still the fastest,
Okay, so now,
but
this is it. Now Hayden is now actually lapping and gaining on it.
yeah.
He's now 239. It's not much.
Will it be enough though? 15 laps to go.
So let's get back down to the pits right now, and Mio is talking to car number 289. That's R-Works, Rios.
Yes, exactly, guys. I'm now down here at pit number 9 with car number 289 with Chiang Kit Sang from R-Works, the first driver that came out today. How are you doing? How was that race for you? How was that start earlier?
It's good. I have a very good start, and the track, the weather is good, okay.
Everything is fine, right? No, because the track condition is dry. It is optimum for racing right now. And your team, looking at the pits, looking at the grid right now, you're at number 2 and you are leading in the overall SP2V. So that must be a good feeling, right? Now you're at the top.
Yeah, it's feel very good because this is my second time come, and I am very happy to. Now it's P2. It's feel very good.
And now the fact that your partner out there, William, is racing right now, how do you think William will do? I mean, like, it's just about him just performing, just maintaining, and just going forward, right?
William is fine. Okay, he's good.
So you're not worried about William?
Not worried. Not worried. Okay.
Okay, so I'll definitely see you on the podium later.
Okay, wish. Okay.
All right, cool. Thank you so much, guys. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Mio. Remember at the start of the race, you had Hayden Heichel saying, I don't have to worry about my other drivers. Well, most
confidence in his teammates.
Most of these teammates like, yeah, don't worry about
Don't
William.
worry
It's
about
like,
him.
especially if you do have a very fast driver. And I know one of the championships that has been happening this year, I think it's into its 6th season, Gazoo Racing. Their partnerships they have in their cars are specifically meant to have a young driver and a fully experienced
Youth
driver.
and experience.
Yeah, so you can, if you're the young driver, you can completely trust, if you've got Mitchell Chow, for example, as your second driver, that when he's out on track for his 10 laps, bang, 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 lap time. So he gives you the best possible platform to go out and do your thing. That is the beautiful blue and gold Wing Hin Motorsports Toyota of Hayden Heichel.
The dynamics at the top have changed now.
They have,
Jeff.
because
two
those
of
as I
our
said,
leaders are in pit at the moment.
Now, for Eddie Liu and William Chong, or as I said, William Chong's just come out, in fact, so we just saw that car. But for those two cars, they were lapping at 252 and 256. So they were always under threat in terms of the lead. But now they're both in for 5-minute stops, so they're absolutely going to lose those top 2 spots, which means Leon Koo and Mitchell Chia are taking their battle up to 1 and 2.
Yeah.
This will be our new race leader.
Correct. But looking at Leon Koo's lap time, he's not dipped under 240 for some time.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. And it might not be the fastest lap, but it's reliable, I'll tell you that. And he's managed to keep himself in the top 5 for a while now. So that is Rios Racing, and I think that should be William Chung, right? It's too quick for Chang to have got back in the...
Yep.
I think so. William's going to go out there now. That's another R Engineering car. There is Mitchell Chia, who is now, as I said, with those two in the pits as they come round. Hold on a second. I think Mitchell's just gone past him.
He's gone past him, yeah.
He has. He's so fast, he even caught me out. I didn't even see him do it. How does he do these things? Mitchell Chia is now going to inherit the lead of this race. And the one person that is going to hate that is Hayden Heichel.
Yeah,
Because
Hayden has also got Leon Koo to contend with. And Hayden has been, well, to be fair to him, he has been consistent in his lap times.
And he's gaining now as
gaining,
well.
yeah.
So that works out. Remember, these two guys, or Mitchell and Hayden, very smartly did their second pit stops during the full course yellow. So they are absolutely green-lit for the end. 14 laps. Where is Hayden? There he is now. You can actually visibly see the difference.
Well, I think it was only a matter of time before we saw Mitchell take that lead, right? Just looking at the lap times, he was just gaining 2 seconds every lap.
There he is. He's now officially on our boards, taken the top spot. Our Engineering is in second with Leon Koo. He's 1.4 seconds behind. I'm expecting Hayden Heichel to take that third spot, and this is going to be the interesting stat. There's Hayden Heichel. He is 12 seconds behind Leon Koo with 13 laps to go. So let's do that calculation again. Hayden Heichel lapping at 2:40. Leon Koo lapping at 2:43. 13 laps to go. There you go. 13 laps to go.
So if he makes up 1 second each lap...
Well, no, he's going to make up 3 seconds each lap. So basically, if he's 13 seconds behind, 3 seconds each lap, he's going to catch Leon at this rate in 5 laps.
Yeah.
5 laps.
I don't think Leon is concerned, because Leon seems to be going slower. He's now lapping at 2:43.
I mean, what Leon can do is he can defend second spot and stop Hayden getting past him and essentially hand the championship to Mitchell Chia.
I expect more aggressive driving from Hayden. I think this is where he comes into play. I remember in the second race, in the rain, he basically went
He's great
at
in the rain. He is really good. But let's just see what happens. But right now, for everyone at home, it's Mitchell Chia, Leon Koo, and Hayden Heichel that are putting in almost a grandstand finish to this race 1 of round 4. In SP2G, it is Seo Tung Wei and Farid Karaman in the top 2 spots. There's about 2 seconds behind between them, and Eddie Liu is now settled in 3rd place. For SP2V, it is that R-Works Rios car that we just saw. William Chong is leading that, so it might just be top podium for them. And Mohammed Hasif is actually in 2nd for Empire M Racing. How fantastic is it that Empire M Racing, who have had such a dodgy season in terms of DNFs and finding themselves in the gravel, are currently on the podium in 2nd spot. Mohammed Hasif, that number 74 car. And the 3rd spot, Axel Sports, Daniel Uy should be behind the wheel of that one. So that's where we are. Turns to top 3, and we'll be back with the final part of this race after this.
isn't over. The fight is just beginning. You can break physically, you can break mentally, you can break your heart, you can break your spirit, and all of those are gonna leave a mark. But the mark that they leave can be the mark of victory or can be the mark of defeat.
Nerves of steel needed in sizzling conditions. It's time to seize the moment in Sepang. It's time to race in MotoGP.
The battle's coming now. The fury shakes the ground. I've come to take my crown. I'm rising up, my heart is pounding, ready and not the clock is counting. This is my moment. This is my moment. This is my moment. For greatness. Legend in the making, deep in my bones. I am the champion. Got one time to take it. It all comes down to this, and deep in my bones. Oh yeah, I am the champion. I know where I'm going. I have been chosen. I'll never be broken. I am the champion. A clashing of titans. A battle of giants. Take a moment of
That no matter what you walk through, no matter how many times you fail, there is within you a spirit that is greater than whatever is going on around you.
If you would be willing to fight your way through this battle, fight your way through it, I'm telling you, at the end of the fight is going to come victory. Because the victory is mine.
Malaysia. 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 Kasih gegar. Kasih gegar. Jom ke Sepang. Kasih gegar.
Yokohama.
Welcome back to the final business end of the Malaysia Championship Series Round 4, Race 1, special format, MTC and SP2G and V in action today, and we're down to the last 11 laps, in fact 10 laps to go now, and that is Lai Wei Sing and that is our engineering, and they're doing very, very well right now in terms of that second spot for Leon Koo, but I wonder how long that's going to be. Because Hayden Heikel is still chasing and is putting in 240 laps, Nick.
240, but just looking at the deficit, it was 14 seconds earlier, now it's 16 seconds. That dream is getting further and further away for Hayden to be in front of Mitchell.
Mitchell is still clocking in 2:38, and I really do wish to see his times for all of the 44 laps that we've had so far, because, as I said, he's been absolutely right on the money. You can almost say if he's in the car, it's going to be a 238, and that's a very, very difficult thing, as you said, for Hayden Heichel to overcome. I think Leon Koo and our engineering's done a fantastic job. The team.
If Leon Koo stays this way, the Aslan brothers are going to be denied third place.
Because he's going to get 24 points, right?
Yes.
No, he will actually get. Yes, he will.
24 points. Yeah.
So Leon Koo doing the best thing he possibly can. He wants to stay in second, obviously. Might be tough. Hayden Heichel should be catching him.
Should be catching him.
2 laps.
But credit to Leon Koo, he's maintained that lap times, even though he's not going as fast.
It's not just Leon, it's our engineering as well. It's a great strategy from them to read the race as it's evolving and to have placed him in just the right spot. And I mean, he even jumped up on us, as I said. We looked up and he was not just in the lead, but then he had to do a few things to make sure that lead was fine, which has come in for his second pit stop. That's been done. He actually had to come in for 3 pit stops in the end. But on top of that, hasn't been as fast as Mitchell Chow, sure, but a 2:43, that might be good enough. And I think that looks like somebody that is suffering a bit from the heat that is happening right now. Definitely not a driver change, that's for certain. It's a bit late on for that.
Like we spoke earlier, the driving conditions out there are extremely testing, and like you said,
if it's dry, they're testing. If it's wet, it's testing. It does. I mean, it's
as
just
long
a
as you're
testing
in the
place.
car out there, you're battling against all elements.
But I can say now, as I just look down this board, that every single one of the cars running, and that's up to Roy Koo and William Chung's our engineering car that isn't running, all those cars have put in 2 pit stops of over 5 minutes. I haven't seen one. In fact, there's currently Daniel Uy for Axel Sports is putting in his second. So that part of the race has been ticked off. And I think race control, there's a stop and go there happening for 69. That's Mohamed Najib is going to have a stop and go penalty. The pit window is now closed. That's important.
So no more pits, and everybody's just got to finish the race.
Yep.
As they are. With 9 laps to go.
Hopefully, yes. As it looks like there might be a problem for the Singaporean team, ST Wangan Racing. Tae Kian Boon, so used to be one of the front runners. Yes, overtaking under a yellow flag. That is something.
That is a drive-through penalty.
That's not going to be debated. That's a drive-through penalty. And as we have said before, drive-through penalties are just irritating. They're irritating to have because your car's doing perfectly fine, all those calculations doing fine, but you have to drive in, slow down to 60 kilometers an hour for the pits, stop your car, then start up again at 60 kilometers an hour, and you end up losing a good
The thing about the Malaysian Championship Series is safety is never compromised. So, everything is done in accordance with the rule. It doesn't matter how fast you're going or how well you're doing. All it takes is one slip.
I'm actually going to add to that and say that there's more rules that you have to put in when you're racing touring cars.
Well, I was going through the safety technical regulations, and it's 73 pages. They're so precise because they want to get everything down to the T.
Absolutely every regulation. But as I said, if you've got a car that is an F1 car that is state-of-the-art, brand new, using Kevlar composites, and it's got computers on every wheel, then that car, when you bring it out, is going to run and you're going to know what's going on. With these cars, these are normal cars. The way they roll, the way they enter the racing line, the way the G-force hits you when you come off it, and there aren't computers on every wheel. You have to guess what's happening with these cars. You have to guess what's happening on track as well. And that's where a lot of motor racing purists believe that touring car racing cars
So a lot of self-reliability.
It's the way, I'm not going to say who said this to me, but a motorsport petrol head said to me, this is the way racing should be. Man and machine joined by your foot and the pedal and your steering wheel. That's it.
And in the case of Mitchell Chia, solitary driver over 300 kilometers,
look, he's proved
full
it,
concentration.
absolutely proved it. You saw him get out. He was a little bit flustered when it started getting a bit hot, but he used that second pit stop just to cool off. Essentially, he's managed the car and he's managed the petrol and the fuel in it well, and he's come out and it's been, once again, tick, tick, tick. He's 13 seconds ahead of Leon Koo right now, and he's 17 seconds ahead of Hayden Heichel. At this point, it is in the bag. Literally 8 laps to go.
Yeah, it's almost business as usual. Just maintain, like you mentioned, the third part of his driving capabilities.
As a sports journalist, let me ask you a question. Right, you've got in all sorts of different sports. You've got in tennis, you've got the explosive person, or you've got Ivan Lendl. Right, you've got somebody that plays the game really well and might be boring and gets the results, or you've got somebody that is absolutely flash in the pan. I actually think the difference is Hayden Heichel and Mitchell Chow. Mitchell Chow is the former. He will play the rules exactly the way they're supposed to be played, and it might be boring to watch him. I don't think it is, because I love when this kind of stuff happens, but it happens in every sport. You get some people that play the game really well and some people that can play to win.
Well,
that's the difference.
At the end of the day, sports is all about finishing on top. I mean, of course you have your personal goals and all, but
you have reviews,
all focus is focus at the top, and Mitchell Chia goes about his business in such a seamless way. It's amazing to watch him do this race after race after race, and I think even though there's so much of strategies devised by his competitors, when it comes down to the track and race day, everything seems to go out the window.
Well, it also depends on how fast you are. I mean, if you know you can put in a 2:38 for 45 laps, then all of these other rules are a little bit easier to manage because you've got that race pace in there. If the best you can do is 2:48, then you're going to have to rely on a few of these other things to work for you. But that's where you have great drivers, and Mitchell Chow has always been perceived as a really great driver because of all of these different parts of his game, whether it's consistency in the car, whether it's focus for the 300 kilometers, whether it's qualifying when he can put in a 2:33. The only driver to get under 2:34 in qualifying was Mitchell Chow. To have that car, maybe he put some input into the car as well to High Rev Dream Chaser to see how that car should work. But in the end, when it counts, you've got a driver in peak form who's reliable, who's efficient in a car that works. That is what people look for. Because if not, to be honest with you, you're just throwing money into motor racing, and you don't know what you're going to get. You might get the feeling of racing, you might get your personal best, you might get podium finishes, but if you're looking to win everything, if that's one of your realistic ambitions to win the whole thing, you need to have that guy in that car, and you need to give him the car to do it.
Ultimately Mitchell's target all the while, because he's experienced enough. He's moved past that whole, I'm testing the car and everything. And as we see, Hayden Heichel eventually is going to do it.
He's having a go at Leon Koo. We knew it was going to happen. We predicted this about 10 laps ago. And now, as you can see, look at the way he attacks.
This is what I like from Hayden. When he has a competitor in front of him, he just brings out, his driving aggressiveness. And
I think he's loving it. It's his first time he's through. And that had to be from the fact that he is lapping, 4 seconds faster than Leon Koo. So Leon's down to third, but that still doesn't take anything away from this amazing drive of his. 7 laps to go now.
So now there's just a simple job of making up this 16, 17 seconds to Mitchell Chia.
Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at that, really. He's not. He's basically lapping a hundredth of a second slower than Mitchell Chia, whether that was communicated to Mitchell or not, so that's not going to happen right now. If something happens in the next 7 laps to Mitchell Chia's car, that he loses pace, then Hayden Heichel has a brilliant chance lapping at this speed. But if not, unfortunately, I would love to see the press conference afterwards, because I think Hayden's not going to be too happy for this. I don't think he's going to be too happy.
But I think on the back of this race, Hayden can still be proud of his performance throughout the season. He's been a model of consistency, not at the top, but he's been up there.
Do you know what did this? Yeah, he's definitely, he's put the hours in, he's got the results in. But just remember that Mitchell Chiao decided to have his second pit stop, and 2 minutes later, Hayden Heichel realized that's what he should be doing.
Yeah.
And he had to stay in, and maybe that played a very, very big part in this result now, but it's looking more and more like, as long as reliability holds, and you know what, Nick, every time I've said that at the end of these seasons, something's happened.
Well, I remember in the S1K back in 2019, we had a leader for what, 160 laps, and as we approached the last 7 laps, it was an engine blowout.
It just stopped. That's right. The funny thing about these cars and these engines is they look great when they're on the go. They look brilliant when they're painted up, but they all stop sometimes.
Yeah.
You want them to stop when you want them to stop. You don't want them to stop by themselves.
But like you mentioned,
do
Jeff,
it.
the second pit stop master stroke for Mitchell Chia,
that was what changed it.
Yeah, that was what changed it.
Really, really changed it. Leon Koo now
I think
still...
it completely blindsided Hayden by the fact that Mitchell Chia went for his second pit.
And didn't even think
5
about
laps
it.
after doing his first, and it sort of threw him off his game. He didn't know when to pit, and I think he pitted.
I mean, I'd love
he didn't
to
pit
see...
right away. He couldn't emulate that.
He didn't. He was 2 minutes behind him. So he was a whole lap, basically, behind
So
him.
the strategy was initially to pit maybe 1 or 2 laps right after Mitchell pitted.
Well, ideally the strategy would be pit at 20 laps and pit at 40 laps. That's the standard strategy. So it would have. So you've got the most amount of time for all the petrol. But Mitchell and Heinrich Dream Chaser took the gamble of saying we are essentially going to go with 1 full tank for 20 laps. I mean, they've essentially risked that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it. I mean, Sid, there's still what, 5 laps to go here, 4 laps to go.
Got 5 laps to go.
It's 5 laps to go. So I'm essentially saying that these cars are going to hold out like that, but we have to wait and see to make sure that reliability is an issue. They've managed the cars well, both of them, considering, or else they would have been trying for 236s and 235s, which I think.
I look at Hayden, and he's dropped off ever since he overtook Leon Koo. His lap times have also dropped off. So it brings me back to my observation earlier. When he has someone in front of him, he seems to be doing better. When he's in isolation drive of sorts, then he looks to have. He doesn't have the.
I think now he realizes that
it may be too late.
If he was 10 seconds behind now, with 5 laps to go, then push. If you're 18 seconds behind and your only hope is something to happen to Mitchell, then manage the car. That might be what's happening right now.
Yeah, it's probably race management phase
You want
now.
to be second, that's for sure. Okay, you don't want to lose your second spot. Said Leon is now 11 seconds behind Heichel, so that's fine. That's good enough. This might just be a maintaining thing. By the way, Goh Lee Hang and Fuyong Chan Tenko Racing in 4th. The Baha brothers for Honda Malaysia in 5th, and USJ Motorsports in 6th. Vera Tay and Gladys Nim, who we talked to, I don't think they actually got out of the pits after that. That was at 44 laps. And it doesn't look...
ended.
Or if they did, I said, it looks like they've just completed. They're 5 laps off the pace right now.
They were going to make the transition from Gladys to Vera, I think in that 5
It might just be
laps.
they were looking for a personal best on that. Right now, they're definitely on track, but they are 5 laps behind, so it's going to be very tough to make up that 10 minutes, which is essentially what it comes down to. And there, as you can see, that's the information that we get as well. If you ever wanted to know how we magically know where all these cars are and what speeds they're running at, well, that's it is. And it's actually something that you can see as well because it's on the internet.
Yeah.
It's get live timing. That's what it's all about.
Almost 20-second advantage now that Mitchell has over Hayden.
We read these things from their timings. All 3 of them are on 2:39 now. So Leon's picked up the pace as well. And these are the only 3 cars that are lapping under 2 minutes and 40 seconds right now, the top 3. I fully expect them. Leon's only 0.9 of a second between Hayden.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm really expecting him to try and push and lapping at roughly the same speed. So that is the big battle right now. Second and third.
Second and third, yes.
Because I think, and as I said, we're being realistic again. I think Hayden has to concede that Mitchell Chow has won this. Look, he's got his visor up. He's enjoying the view. That's not attack Mitchell. That's maintain
relaxed.
Mitchell. Yeah.
Let's maintain relaxed mode already.
If he sees anyone turn up within 10 feet of the back of his car, then he'll go into attack Mitchell and put in a 237. I think he knows literally down to each corner what he needs to do to get a 237 or a 239.
Yeah.
And if he's in an isolation drive like that, yes, there is a bit of pressure. I think this should be them. That's for position. Hayden Heikel and Leon Koo, both of them second and third in class with 4 laps to go. And that, by the way, is William Chong, who is currently topping SP2V. One of the leaders there. The top of the podium for him. Someya Futoshi. Is that a double R-Works? It's a double R-Works Rios. It's a 1-2 for them in SP2V. That is worth writing down. So that's an amazing fact, just to get a 1-2 in anything. TD Racing had a 1-2 for a second. They're now in 5th and 6th in SP2G. Eddie Liu as former, there he is. Former leader is now leading SP2G ahead of Wei Lang from Awesome Racing. That's that beautifully brightly colored car that we saw earlier. That's in 2nd spot.
Eddie Liu has done really well for himself, you know.
Eddie Liu is always turning up as an MCS stalwart. He's done well, knows how to control the car well enough, and does everything that Mitchell Chow would do, except just that little bit, in terms of lap times, slower. But everything else, and that's important to have, he does very, very well. Hayden Heikel has managed to, well, he's pulled away a bit. Hayden is now, well, Leon's come off the pace a little bit. He's at 2:41. So 4 laps to go for Eddie Liu. So far, so good. As you can see from the race clock, we're just approaching 3 p.m.
I think what's been really good about this race is the weather has really played into the advantage of the entire field. You know, we've not had these external stoppages where the
that's true.
Drivers
That's
have had to change tires.
There have been a couple of times this season where
even full course yellow was for a couple of laps. So it's been
I think it was six or 7 laps in the end, but it was good. It was a significant part because it allowed our leaders to get and make their double pit stop first of all. More than that's for me one of the stories of the day. Empire M Racing not just finishing the 300-kilometer race with 3 laps to go, but also being up there. And where are they right now? They are 4th in SP2V. That is a good finish for them because, as I said, they're always plagued by all sorts of problems. Empire M Racing, one of the most common cars I've seen in the pits this season, I think, and probably even last season. That's absolutely no disrespect to them. They were just unlucky in terms of where they finished. 51 laps converted for Mitchell Chow now. And that gap is lengthening. It's 20.2 seconds as he puts in a 239. He's been clockwork 239, Mitchell Chow. So it's like a moving target. It's very, very difficult to beat. That's the Singapore-based team, ST Wanga. Once again, great to see Singaporean drivers and teams, Indonesian drivers as well, taking part in MTC and SP2GNV for another season.
Yeah, we've had a great representation from all over the world.
It's a regional hub. It's a regional hub.
And even from South America, I think there's some representation from Peru.
I think Alex Jung managed to bring in a few, I'm going to say foreign drivers, but international drivers is really what they are. Nico Civelli is another one. Diego Moran, that's another one. So 3 laps left. Talking of Axel Sports, there is Axel Sports in a very non-Axel Sports car. It's a yellow car. I would have expected to see the Axel logo on that. They used to call those T cars. If you had a car that was a reserve car that wasn't painted out in the same livery, but I'm sure there's a reason. There's always a reason as to every piece of decal and livery that's on these cars. So right now, this is 26th overall. And looking back at our leader, completing his 52nd lap there, starting his 52nd lap, so 2 laps left.
He's on course for a hat-trick of victories.
Yeah.
In the space of a month.
Yeah, but this is also not going to be his first title.
Yeah, definitely.
Chao has won touring production, I know before. He's won MTC before as well.
And it sets him really nicely for the S1K.
It does. That's actually the main thing about this season finale. And you heard, I think it was Rahul Raj who was saying earlier on during one of the interviews that that's what the setups that they make up for these cars, because it is almost a quarter of S1K.
Yeah, it's like a prelude to the S1K.
It's like a testing session that's 3 hours for your car. And you get an understanding over the season and over the years as to what these cars can take over an hour, what these cars can take over 3 hours, what these cars can take over 10 hours, and what you need to do to keep, the maximum amount of performance, because it always surprises me some of the cars that make the finish line at S1K, and actually some of the cars that don't. But as you said, there's been high drama at S1K recently, last few years. After 161 laps, stop. That's something you won't forget very easily. So that is Eddie Liu leading off. That's not for position, is it? No, it's not. It's not. That's Eddie Liu cleanly in front for the Bay Racing team, SP2G, and some 39 seconds ahead of Wei Leng from Awesome Racing. So, going to be happy with that performance, Eddie Liu and Awesome Racing, in fact. And Ian Wong Zhen Sen from DW Motorsports, been one of the big finishers of the season so far. In fact, if I'm right, he's running in second, or was running in second up to this point. He was, in fact. Timothy Yeo was on 61 points. Currently running in 15th, Timothy Yeo. And Ian Wong was 12 points behind him.
Last lap before the coronation for Mitchell Chia.
So, Ian Wong Jun Sen might just, it's too much to think of all the combinations of points now, but if it's double points and he's in 9th, then he's going to get, let's see, actually that's not much, that's 2 points. That's 4 points he's going to get, and that's not going to mean, so it still is, I think, going to be Timothy Yeo's title. He's not going to get any points, but I think he's going to take SP2G overall. Timothy Thomas Yeo for Bay Racing. So Bay Racing team have essentially won SP2G, I can tell you that. That's for certain. High Rev Dream Chaser well on their way now, the last lap, to winning MTC, and SP2V, that's going to be an R-Works Rios double. So headlines. Presentation ceremony after this, and hopefully Leo will not just be officiating that, but he will also be talking to the drivers as well. Wait and see. Right now it's all about this turn 9 and 10 for Mitchell Chia.
It's going to take him to 103 points with this victory for Mitchell. Has this been the highest points tally to your knowledge?
I can't remember offhand, but it sounds like his usual. To do that, I mean, think about it, over 4 rounds, with 30 points as the last round. It means you have to pick up 70 points, basically, off the opening 3 rounds of 6 races. And 70 points off 6 races is over 10 points a race.
Over 10 points.
So you have to finish 2nd or 3rd.
So this would be his 4th victory in 7 races.
Yeah.
1
You have
runner-up
to-
spot, 1 3rd place finish.
So he's coming up the checkered flag now, but as they say in football, you can only drop 9 points if you're going to win the championship. For MCS, you essentially, if you want to hit 103 points and win, you have to hit 2nd or 3rd.
Well, there's only
pretty much every
one race that he's not been on podium, and that speaks volume.
Yeah. Even that one, I think he finished 6th, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's still points. I mean,
It's still points. It's
here
still
he is, checkered flag. This is the big moment for Mitchell Chia. Lights flashing, and he was right. What he said on the grid was absolutely true. He never, ever saw Hayden Heikel ahead of him.
Yeah. A hat-trick of titles for Mitchell Chia in the span
Strong.
of just
There is
over a
Hayden.
month.
So Hayden comes in 2nd, some 20 seconds behind. Well done to Wing Hin Motorsports.
Yeah,
Remember-
Hayden's still got to be proud of himself. 5th
Well, it was just,
runner-up.
I said both High Rev Dream Chaser and Wing Hin both lost cars. There's Leon Koo, the surprise package in terms of top 3. But well done. What a fantastic strategy from our engineering and the team to keep Leon not just up at the top, but within the top 3, but also to have him leading after that.
And that
that big
ultimately
window.
takes Leon into a podium spot because that brings him up to 63 points, and he will effectively replace the Aslan
No way.
brothers.
What did the Aslan brothers have in terms of points?
60.
So that's come down.
So that consolation which they thought they
well,
had,
there was nothing they could do about it. The
there is
car was
nothing
out.
they could do, yeah.
So
out
if
of
they
their
could,
hands.
if they could get out and fight again, that would have been amazing.
But well done to Leon Koo. He's really
fantastic.
put in a fantastic shift.
He's pushed up his performance. I think that's something that's well deserved, considering. So. So as our finishers come through, and I can tell you that. Well, still waiting for Eddie Liu. There he is. Oh, he's at turn 10 right now. Okay, yep, another 5 corners for him. Very good race in terms of discipline for these guys. All the races out there, the 44 cars that we had, they started well. There were a couple of incidents, yes, but there wasn't anything serious.
There
It was
wasn't
just
there
just
wasn't
the oil.
Yeah, it's just
at
the oil
turn
spill.
11 and 12.
No massive damage to any of the cars, which I think, from my experience doing so many of these races,
you've
it's been an amazing, clean race.
Sometimes it can get really messy out there, and we're hoping, of course.
I remember the second race that we did. we spent almost 40 minutes just waiting for the race to kick off because it was just
You have to
torrential.
do it, as I said, and you know the great thing is that this is just part 1. Part 2, Touring Production and Sport Production 1 have all sorts of stories waiting for us tomorrow when it all kicks off at 1 p.m. Don't go anywhere now, though, of course, because cars coming into Parc Fermé, and you can just see on the side of the car there as well, Amir Harris and Jeffrey Wong, all these other people that have shared that car. It's wonderful to see. But Eddie Liu comes through to take the SB2G victory. And it was an R-Works double. William Chong and Someya Futoshi for R-Works Rios. That is actually a great result for R-Works Rios. They've been in and about the points over the season, but they've never really looked like the big headliner. And now they've come in and they've not just won 1, but they've won 2 in terms of getting the double in there. Well done to them. So cars into Parc Fermé, as you'd expect. There it is. That car's fine. It's got the right amount of fuel, and it's
Got
running.
our champion in it.
It's running absolutely beautifully. So good call by Mitchell Chia and High Rev Dream Chaser to call that one and to put those 2. It's how important were those
Insane.
2
That's
stops.
an insane strategy. 2 laps.
Everything about them was
2
saying,
pits
shall
in the
we
span of
wait?
5 laps. Amazing.
Yeah, shall we wait and do the pit stop when we should in the 40th? No, there was a sudden change of plan, and Mitchell has come through. And based not just on that gamble, it's so many other parts to his racing styles come through. And look at that, even in Parc Fermé, Hayden is behind Mitchell.
He's keeping him in the rear.
He just never sees anything else. And now the camera's making its way through, and to Hayden Heichel's car. Oh, we're going to have to refocus that, obviously. There you go. Well, he's out of the car already. Where is he? Well, maybe he is ruining the fact that they should have made that decision themselves and come in and done the double stop. I've never seen that happen before. But then there's a lot of things this weekend.
I
that
can't
I've
wait for
never,
the
never
interview with Mitchell, just to find out the dynamics and the
Yep.
thought process that
Yep,
went behind
that's
that.
right. And
two pits.
funnily enough, it looks like it might just be about to rain as well. Well, here are the results, and it's a fantastic drive for Mitchell Chia and High Rev Dream Chaser. They came through on their prediction. Top spot, Hayden Heichel in second, 20 seconds back. Leon Koo in third. Avia and Alvin in fourth. Go Li Hang and Fuyang Cha in fifth. Lee Kwok Ming and Afiq Mohammed in sixth. Vera and Gladys in seventh in the end, not bad. Hugh Koi Sen, Aaron Lim, and Lee Wai Chong and Rahul Raj make up the top 10. And Mark Chu was also one of the DNFs almost at the start of the race, and obviously the Aslan brothers just 3 laps in.
And in the SP2G, Liu Kawai turning out as champion. Wong Yu Chong taking second place, Ian Wong in third place, Lester Neo, Adam Mikhail in fourth and fifth, Timothy Yeo in sixth, Nick Z, Lee Yen Jin, Lau Ken Jan, and Yip Kian Heng make up the top 10. In 11th place, we have Ng Chon Jin, followed by Ong Wai Kong. ST Wangan Racing takes 13th place, Wu Wai Hong 14th, Aiman Haziq in 15th, and in 16th is Roy Koo.
Now, looking at SB2V, well, it's our works, as I said, up at the front and in second as well. Great double from them. Mohammed Asif in third. Great finish for Empire M Racing on the podium. Najib Ismail and Ferdows in fourth. Sharik and Daniel in fifth. Daniel and Jeffrey, Walker and Lawrence from Axel Sports. A good finish for Axel Sports in sixth. Divyash Parajan makes it to seventh in the end. Axel Sports again in eighth. Alan Tia in ninth. And Jason Hu and Lee Yong in 10th. And that leaves Shafiq Shamsuddin. That was one of the first DNFs, or third, I should say. Chu Yong Chun and Stuart Hine and Nathan Daly Paul. Well, as we've been saying, and it's been a great race to watch, it all started off under very good weather. This is just after 12 o'clock. Staggered start, as you can see. Hayden Heichel looking immediately on the inside, but defended well by Mitchell Chia and Rahul Rajmaier, as we now know who was in that car. This was the second start for SP2G and SP2V, and then once we got underway, well, this was the big battle right at the start when it was a 3-way battle between Rahul Raj, Mitchell Chia and Hayden Heichel, fighting it out all the way. This was the tragic moment when Hayden had to concede 2 spots to High Rev Dream Chaser. Well, that was the only real trouble that we saw in terms of DNFs early on, but there were battles happening absolutely all over the track. But thankfully, not many actual shunts or contacts. There was a couple, but nothing. That was Eddie Liu, of course, would end up winning that.
For where you stand right now.
Yeah,
that,
at that point I was.
And as we look, this was the big incident, turn 11 and 12, that led to the full course yellow. The full course yellow itself knocked on a whole host of pit stops, and it was that magical, before there's the full course yellow, it was that magical decision by High Rev Dream Chaser to bring in their car 5 laps apart for the 2 5-minute stops. That changed everything as they came out for the second half of the race with about 20 laps to go. It was Eddie Liu heading up SB2G. SB2V was keenly contested from Arworks Rios, and he had to fight his way through, but consistency at 2:37 laps meant that Mitchell Chia would come through. And with flashing lights, he takes the MTC win and the MTC title for 2023. And that would be followed by an Arworks Rios double, as we said, in Bay Racing cleaning up in SB2G as well. Podium presentation is on the way soon, so do stay with us. Right now, taking a break.
Nerves of steel needed in sizzling conditions. It's time to seize the moment in Sepang. It's time to race in MotoGP.
Yokohama.
The biggest race of 2022 is here as we get set fully for trying this Grand Prix in Malaysia. And look at Bagnaia. He's up to second. Close off. Bagnaia up into second place. Fabio Quartararo clinging on to that third place. How close was that?
To all my fans, this year is our year. Come down to Sepang this November. It's time for Malaysian GP. Malaysia. 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 Jom ke Sepang, kasih gegar.
Yokohama.
Isn't over. The fight is just beginning. You can break physically, you can break mentally, you can break your heart, you can break your spirit, and all of those are gonna leave a mark. But the mark that they leave can be the mark of victory or can be the mark of defeat.
Nerves of steel needed in sizzling conditions. It's time to seize the moment in Sepang. It's time to race in MotoGP.
The battle's coming now. The fury shakes the ground. I've come to take my crown. I'm rising up, my heart is pounding, ready and not the clock is counting. This is my moment. This is my moment. This is my moment. Oh, greatness. Oh, legend is a making deep in my bones. I am the champion. Got one time to take it. Oh, it all comes down to this and deep in my bones. Oh yeah, I am the champion. I know where I'm going. I have been chosen. I'll never be broken. I am the champion. A clashing of titans, a battle of giants. Take a moment of
And no matter what you walk through, no matter how many times you fail, there is within you a spirit that is greater than whatever is going on around you.
If you would be willing to fight your way through this battle, fight your way through it, I'm telling you, at the end of the fight is going to come victory.
Because the victory is mine.
Malaysia. 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 Kasih Gegar. Kasih Gegar. Jom ke Sepang. Kasih Gegar.
It's time to race. Go! Great start from competition. Electric start from Jorge Martin. And look at Bagnaia. He's up to second. Start back at Bagnaia on the inside of Marc Marquez. Up into second place. The dream start. The fairy tale first two corners. He's second.
To all my fans, this is our year. Come down to Sepang this November. It's time for Malaysian GP. Malaysia. 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 Jom ku Sepang, kasih Gegar.
Yokohama.
The biggest race of 2022 is here as we get set fully for trying this Grand Prix in Malaysia. And look at Bagnaia. He's up to second. Close off, back at Bagnaia, up into second place. Fabio Quartararo clinging on to that third place. How close was that?
To all my fans, this is our year. Come down in November to Sepang. It's time for Malaysian GP. Malaysia, 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 Malaysia. Jom kar Sepang, kasih Gegar.
Yokohama.
The biggest race of 2022 is here as we get set fully for trying this Grand Prix in Malaysia. And look at Bagnaia. He's up to second. Close off, back at Bagnaia, up into second place. Fabio Quartararo clinging on to that third place. How close was that?
Hello to all my fans. This is our year. Come down to Sepang this November. It's time for Malaysian GP. Malaysia, 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 Malaysia. Jom kur Sepang, kasih Gegar.
Nerves of steel needed in sizzling conditions. It's time to seize the moment in Sepang. It's time to race in MotoGP.
Yokohama.
The biggest race of 2022 is here as we get set fully for this Grand Prix in Malaysia. And look at Bagnaia. He's up to second. Close off. Back of Bagnaia up into second place. Fabio Quartararo clinging on to that third place. How close was that?
To all my fans, this year is our year. Come down to Sepang this November. It's time for Malaysian GP. Malaysia, 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 Malaysia. Jom ke Sepang, kasih gegar.
Yokohama.
Isn't over. The fight is just beginning. You can break physically, you can break mentally, you can break your heart, you can break your spirit, and all of those are gonna leave a mark. But the mark that they leave can be the mark of victory or can be the mark of defeat.
Nerves of steel needed in sizzling conditions. It's time to seize the moment in Sepang. It's time to race in MotoGP.
The battle's coming now. The fury shakes the ground. I've come to take my crown. I'm rising up, my heart is pounding, ready and not the clock is counting. This is my moment. This is my moment. This is my moment. For greatness. Legend is the making, deep in my bones. I am the champion. Got one time to take it. It all comes down to this, and deep in my bones. Oh yeah, I am the champion. I know where I'm going. I have been chosen. I'll never be broken. I am the champion. A clashing of titans, a battle of giants. Take a moment of
That no matter what you walk through, no matter how many times you fail, there is within you a spirit that is greater than whatever is going on around you.
If you would be willing to fight your way through this battle, fight your way through it, I'm telling you at the end of the fight is going to come victory.
Because the victory is mine.
Malaysia, 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 Malaysia. Kasih gegar. Kasih gegar. Jom ke Sepang. Kasih gegar.
It's time to race. Go! Great start from competition. Electric start from Jorge Martin. And look at Bagnaia. He's up to second. Start back at Bagnaia on the inside of Marc Marquez. Up into second place. The dream start. The fairy tale first two corners. He's second.
To all my fans, this is our year. Come down to Sepang this November. It's time for Malaysian GP. Malaysia. 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 Jom ku Sepang, kasih gegar.
Yokohama.
The biggest race of 2022 is here as we get set fully for trying this Grand Prix in Malaysia. And look at Bagnaia. He's up to second. Back at Bagnaia, up into second place. Fabio Quartararo clinging on to that third place. How close was that?
To all my fans, this is our year. Come down in November to Sepang. It's time for Malaysian GP. Malaysia. 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 Jom kat Sepang, kasih gegar.
Yokohama.
The biggest race of 2022 is here as we get set fully for trying this Grand Prix in Malaysia. And look at Bagnaia. He's up to second. Back at Bagnaia, up into second place. Fabio Quartararo clinging on to that third place. How close was that?
Hello to all my fans. This is our year. Come down to Sepang this November. It's time for Malaysian GP. Malaysia. 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 Jom kur Sepang, kasih gegar.
Nerves of steel needed in sizzling conditions. It's time to seize the moment in Sepang. It's time to race in MotoGP.
Yokohama.
The biggest race of 2022 is here as we get set fully for trying this Grand Prix in Malaysia. And look at Bagnaia. He's up to second. Close off. Bagnaia up into second place. Fabio Quartararo clinging on to that third place. How close was that?
To all my fans, this year is our year. Come down to Sepang this November. It's time for Malaysian GP. Malaysia. 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 Jom ke Sepang, kasih gegar.
Yokohama.
Isn't over. The fight is just beginning. You can break physically, you can break mentally, you can break your heart, you can break your spirit, and all of those are gonna leave a mark. But the mark that they leave can be the mark of victory or can be the mark of defeat.
Nerves of steel needed in sizzling conditions. It's time to seize the moment in Sepang. It's time to race in MotoGP.
The battle's coming now. The fury shakes the ground. I've come to take my crown. I'm rising up, my heart is pounding, ready and not the clock is counting. This is my moment. This is my moment. This is my moment. For greatness. Legend in the making, deep in my bones. I am the champion. God will try to take it. It all comes down to this, and deep in my bones. Oh yeah, I am the champion. I know where I'm going. I have been chosen. I'll never be broken. I am the champion. A clashing of titans. A battle of giants. Take a moment of
That no matter what you walk through, no matter how many times you fail, there is within you a spirit that is greater than whatever is going on around you.
If you would be willing to fight your way through this battle, fight your way through it. I'm telling you at the end of the
Welcome back to our coverage here on the official live stream of the Sepang International Circuit. It is, well, you've missed the race, but that's not the important part because it is only part one of the finale. And now, as you can see, it's podium
In
time.
second place, car number 39 from Wing Hin Motorsport, Hayden Heiger.
So empty seat is what we've kicked off with, and there he is. Oh, he's looking quite happy, Nick.
Yeah, no reason for him not to
And,
fifth
the
consecutive
winner.
runner-up finish.
For the MTC category, car number 100, High Rev Dream Chaser, Mitchell Chia.
There he is, another glittering accolade to give to, I would say, arguably one of the best touring car drivers in Malaysia.
And now we would like to invite Mr. Jason Chow, Assistant Sales Manager of Yokohama Tire Sales Malaysia, Sdn Bharat, to hand over the trophies to all our third, second, and first place winners.
So VIPs on hand as always.
And now a photo op with the presenters and the winners for the MTC category.
He's standing behind Mitchell. Had to point it out, I just had to.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, give our winners a big round of applause. The winners for round 4 MCS MTC category. Thank you, Mr. Jason, and congratulations once again to all the winners.
So up next should be our podium for SP2V.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll proceed with the next category, the S Production 2V category. In third place, car number 74, Empire M Racing, Muhammad Hasif.
What a performance from Empire M Racing. Congratulations to them.
In second place, car number 989 from R-Works Rios, Takashi Ui and Someya Futoshi.
Well, the beginning of the double for R-Works Rios.
And your champion for the SP2V category, car number 289 from R-Works Rios, Xiang Kim San and William Chong.
Just cannot stress how important it is and how great it is for a team to have the top 2 spots of the
And
podium.
now to present the trophy, we would like to invite first of all Mr. Yong Chi Ki, head of IT Sepang International Circuit, to hand the trophy to our third place winner. And now we would like to invite Ms. Farah Fuad, Head of Strategic Communications, Sepang International Circuit, to hand the trophy to our second place winner. And now let's bring out our first place trophy presenter, Inche Ilyas Rabbani, Head of Motorsport Development, Sepang International Circuit, to hand the trophies to our first place winners.
Bright Sun on the podium.
And now a photo walk with all of our presenters and our winners in the center of the podium.
Look at the camera in front. Okay, drivers, look at me.
All right, thank you, fellow presenters, and once again, congratulations to all the winners for the SP2V category.
That means, of course, one last podium for the day. Up after this, and that's for SP2G.
And to proceed with the final category for today, for MCS 2023 Round 4, is the SP2G category. Let's invite all the winners to the podium. In third place, card number 43, DW Motorsport, Ian Wong Jensen.
He's been a reliable performer all season, Ian Wong. Gets himself another podium
In second place,
right at the end of the season.
car number 268 from Awesome Racing, Yu Chung and Wei Ling.
Now that's a result, and I'm not just talking about the paint job.
And now your champion for the SP2G category, car number 90 from Bay Racing Team, Liu Kawai.
Eddie Liu, ladies and gentlemen. Solid, consistent performance from him. And he's up there on the top spot.
And now we would like to invite Mr. Yong Chi Ki, head of EIT Sepang International Circuit, to hand the trophy to our third place winner. And now we'd like to invite Ms. Farah Fuad, Head of Strategic Communications, Sepang International Circuit, to hand the trophy to our second place winners. And now we would like to invite Encik Ilyas Rabani, Head of Motorsport Development, Sepang International Circuit, to hand the trophies to our first place winner. Ladies and gents, your SP2V winners. Presenters, please come to the center of the podium for a photo op. Thank you, presenters, and once again, congratulations to all the winners. Ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end for MCS Round 4 for today. But don't worry, we'll be back again tomorrow for the TP and SP1 category final round here at MCS 2023. We hope to see you again tomorrow. Have a great weekend ahead, and thank you, and goodbye.
So that ends the podium ceremony, but we are going to be hearing from our winners. All in all, Nick, pretty good to see them up on the podium.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been a fantastic race, you know, considering the from the weather to the
solid,
the
yeah,
track, you know, everything went really smoothly, and we've all had deserved winners in every category. So I think everybody can be proud of themselves, of the efforts that's been put out, and really looking forward to the interview, especially from
Yeah,
Mitchell.
I think one thing I have to confirm what you said is absolutely true. When you have racing courses that have been designed to this level, FIA Grade 1, and there aren't that many, then it all rises up. But that interview that you are waiting for is coming up right now. Let's hear from Mitchell Chow.
All right, guys, now I'm together with the champion for the MTC category, Mitchell Chia. Not just the champion for today, but the overall champion. Mate, how do you feel?
I feel happy, you know, happy for the team, happy with the result, happy with the work that everyone has put in for this whole season. Definitely was an exhausting race, 300 kilometers, you know, about 2.5 hours, I think.
Yep.
I was dying in the first 20 laps already, and yeah, I just told myself to stay focused, no mistakes. Even if I go a bit slower, keep it consistent, just don't make any mistakes. Kept it true. In the end, it was a very good result for the team. Big thank you to Hi-Ref, for this opportunity, for all the hard work from the very beginning of the season. And we're here winning the championship again for the second time in a row.
But one thing I do want to point out is that it was quite interesting, especially in the first 3 to 4 laps. It was something, and you were able to actually, come out of it strong and just finish it off.
At the start, I was dreaming a bit. I wasn't looking at the lights. I was looking somewhere else to see roughly where they're gonna start. But they started a bit earlier. That's why that caught me off guard. Then losing out 2 positions at the start, then I told on the radio, I said, it's fine, it's okay, I'll come back. Just let everything settle down and I'll get back at them again. After I think 4 or 5 laps, I got it back, then just started pulling away. Yeah.
Right, congratulations to you again, once again, awesome job. All right, Meet guys.
Thanks a lot, Mio. Well, you heard it there, Nick. It's exactly what we said up here, that it was really about a question of managing all these different parts of his driving day to make sure it came out on top. But he was actually flagging in terms of fatigue.
Yeah, indeed. And he also...
Okay, and while we have them there, we need to get down and talk to them. It's Eddie Liu from SP2G winner. Let's hear from him.
All right, Eddie Liu together with us here, the champion for round 4 in SP2G 300-kilometer endurance race. Everybody's been complaining it's tiring. You some more, the lone driver today. How did you manage to do that?
Yeah, actually, it's a big challenge for me, actually, for this race. For 300 km, I need to drive alone. And I got some problem for yesterday, so I qualified at P12. So I need to really push for the first stint and one by one climb out. It's not easy.
You're obviously, granted, like you said, started at P12, but you managed to go through. You must be very happy right now.
Yeah, of course. But really enjoy my race.
Enjoy your race. All right, congratulations again, Eddie. All right, Eddie, the winner, guys.
Thanks a lot, Mio. And that's really what it's all about. It's about having a great time, and Eddie Liu really did put in a very, very good
12th place,
performance.
amazing.
Yeah, I know. As I said, you can have your problems in qualifying, you can have your problems in free practice, and wherever you end up, you then have to deliver in terms of the race
Makes
itself.
the victory even sweeter as well.
Of course, and for all those other drivers as well, they have the same problems to deal with. So let's hear from the SP2V winner now.
All right, guys, we are here now with the SP2V winners. We have Kin Sang as well as William Chong here. William, I had a chat with your buddy just now in the pits. He had no trouble in having confidence in you to finish up and to deliver. So tell us, how was it just now?
Well, the beginning was a bit tough because everyone was so close. And yeah, the heat was there, and we are struggling by the heat and lots of power steerings. But luckily we have a safety car to help us and turn the table around. So that's why we have a good time at the end of the race.
So obviously, I just want to ask you, Kin Sang, like you said, you had confidence in him. Obviously, William has confidence in you as well. You're happy with your performance, both of you today? You're very happy?
Yeah, I'm very happy. Hope next time P1 again.
P1 again, that's what we can hope for. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. All right, guys, that's it from us here at the Sepang International Circuit. It has been a tremendous 300 kilometers, especially for the MTC as well as the SP2 categories. It's been joyful to watch. A lot of dramas that we have seen so far, but we're not done yet. We're definitely going to be back here tomorrow for the TP as well as the SP1 category. That's it from the Sepang International Circuit. My name is Mio Adlan. Have a great day. Ciao. Bye.
So that's it. As you can tell, we're done for today, but it is only part 1. Thanks to Nick Anil. Nick, thanks for joining me today. I will see you tomorrow.
Yes.
For race 2, which
Looking
is the
forward.
touring production and sport production 1. Thanks to everyone involved today for making it happen, and we will catch you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Have a great day.
It is hot down here in the pit lanes. It's definitely going to be hotter out there on the track. Ladies and gents, we are back. Welcome back at the Malaysia Championship Series down here.
And the Malaysia Championship Series 2021 season is a go. You can hear those engines screaming their way. Driver all there's some contact at turn 15. We said there might be some action at turn 15. Wow, look, that's a double overtake. This is some huge stuff to kick off